folks. It is October 20th, 2023. And as we speak this very moment, there are two more Friday Lives and then Expo Week, like Shark Week, but lamer.
Oh, lamer? Is that a word?
Yeah. Oh, no, it's a lot lamer. Yeah. No, it's like Shark Week's pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. Brad, I got to be honest. I like Expo and everything, but it's not as cool as Shark Week.
No, true.
It's not, you know, it's not.
We had a shark attack here in Nova Scotia this week. A guy was hunting ducks with his dog, and the dog jumped in the ocean. This just happened yesterday, and he got a shark bitten by a shark, or I don't know, some crazy story. Anyway,
fair enough.
Right. Is the dog lame now, or lamer?
I think the dog's toast.
Like lemon and
No, I was going to say lemon and
Brad, have you thought about going for a swim at all lately?
Nope, not at all.
I want you to think
about it. What's gonna happen? The problem is, Eric, what's gonna happen is that he's gonna go on a jet ski and he's gonna fly over the shark.
There you go.
Jump the shark. I get it.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think Brad, I think Fonzie.
Hey. Anyway, so let's get into a couple of comments here, and then we'll get underway. Hockey Cardboard was first out of the block today, and it was Eric. Do you have any Easter eggs for us this week to top Upper Deck? Ooh, it's going to be some work. We're going to talk a little bit about Upper Deck Series 1 for sure, because that's one of the big issues, big series, massive. I've seen a lot of breaks for it. I've seen a lot of cool cards come out of it, which has been fun. I did get a chance, and actually, now would be a good time. Let me do it now, since it's a smooth place to put the transition. AMG Collectibles.ca, friend of the channel, supporter of the channel, and also YouTube channel, where we did do a break of Series 1, opened up a box of that and opened up a box of 21-22 UD Premier. So able to check that out. Lloyd from AMG Collectibles joined me, and I was able to give a little color commentary as we were chatting back and forth and opening it up. People enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a good opportunity to open up a box and show that off. And that stuff was flying off the shelves like hotcakes. People were all over the new cards. Some nice stuff in there. Definitely for sure, and we can talk about that a little bit more here in a minute. But I wanted to thank AMG Collectibles and AMGcollectibles.ca for support of the channel.
I just want to say we're very, very happy to have AMG Collectibles on board with us. They've changed directions. They have a new owner that is absolutely fantastic. Is doing so much more than the previous owner. She is a light on the darkness, and has really turned that place around in a short period of time. And we are very, very happy to have her and her team supporting us. And
on a related note, completely unrelated note, Brad, who is the person who actually shipped out the Reggie Lemon to me?
I think it was Sherry.
Did you
I
get
think it was
frozen there for a second?
He was thinking about it. He goes, "No, I'm doing it two-sided as a reminder, and also make sure Cherry. It'll make Eric feel better. So number one, let's make sure it got sent out, and number two, let's make sure it's Sherry who does it. That way, Eric will feel better.
I don't believe that for a second. I don't think she would do that to me. She is
I think she 100% would. All right, let me read through a couple more comments here. Let me focus here for a second. He's got crumble cookies for the class. That is Eric's. That is going to be part of Eric's MO. All right, let me touch on this one. I'll read it first, and then I'll come back to it because there's a little bit back and forth, but I'll get to back in here in a second. It's a valid question. Hockey asks, Carlos, what are your thoughts on the Justin Gamble being called a scammer? I'll get to that in a minute here. Is he a scammer, or are people dumb buying into his repacks? All right, spoiler, the second part is always true. So I will get to the first part in a minute here, but the second part, yes. Generally, the second part is true. But I'll come back to the first part here in a minute. Paul here, good evening. Repack to be mad, but not likely a scammer and guy calling him a pedophile as a real POS human being. Terrible. Who would do such a scandalous thing? Moving on. Good evening here. Absolutely. Oh, we got some en français. There you go. All right, so let's see here. Brad is here. We got any thoughts? We'll get to that here in a second. We'll come back to that. Repacks are repacks. People are mad they didn't get the big hits most likely, but I'll touch on it. There are a couple of other complicating factors that make it a little bit different. I want to make sure we're accurate and transparent on it, but I will touch on it here in a second. Good evening, Justin. Good evening. Well, I should say Australia. Good afternoon, morning,
Good
evening,
day.
wherever it is in Australia. Good day. Good day to you. Good day there, champions. And Eric, appreciate that. Thank you. Eric enjoys long walks offshore piers. Facts.
Bob.
It's just UD1 portraits seem popular with the younger crowd. They might be. They're not popular with me. But I was very nice. I was very nice on that.
Don't even get me started on two specific inserts in this Upper Deck Series 1. Don't even get me started.
You've
We might have
already
to mute him a
started.
couple of times. For the record, in the UD1 break, I was very nice. I just said it was an attempt. That was me being nice. I'll leave it at that. All right. Good evening, gentlemen and ruffians, ladies and Eric. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. What's the new parallel out of 250 called? It is called Deluxe. I pulled it to the side so I had it in front of me. So it is called Deluxe. Good evening, Orlando. Brad, how does it feel to have to pay to hear Eric say nice things about you? AMG Collectibles is paying for that, but that fair question. Fair question, Bob. All right, here we go. Let's see here. Looks like Eric has been working the biceps. Look at you. He's appreciating your jackness.
Oh,
He's right now in Rocky type training for the Expo. He's
Yeah.
got to be able to defend himself against all the slings and arrows coming, and then be able to run away from Marcel.
I plan on kicking Brad's ass when I get there. So I have to have the muscles to carry the ladder. Because Brad's quite a lot taller than I am. So I'm going
to enjoy so much when he jerseys you, and you won't even start with the jersey on.
So
that's what's going to make it impressive.
I got to carry the ladder through the Expo, place it down, climb to the top, and then I'm going to punch him dead in the mouth.
By the way, I think
there's nothing wrong with a punch in the knee.
I was going to say that might be what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the camera angle. You can see the camera angle now. Like he's pushing his biceps up.
Oh yeah. He's angling right now for the camera big time.
As soon as he went that way, everything just went downhill again.
You know what I'm thinking now?
I'll just sit like this for the rest of the night.
Yeah, what's gonna be great is tomorrow when he's like, Carlos, I can't move. The arms are broken. So Brad, what I'm thinking now is if we do this Thunderdome style, it can be play-by-play commentary. It can be me and Kenny Reed. We'll do some play-by-play commentary. I think it'd be sensational.
That'd be awesome.
Might have to make it happen.
Oh, I seen Kenny Reed at the Leaside show the other day. I introduced myself and he just went, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, yeah, like I'm not a fan, but yeah, I'm a fan.
Hey, it is what it is. At some point, I joke with Brad. At some point, I might get him on the channel. We'll chat a little hockey cards. It might be fun to have a little conversation. We'll see. We'll see if we can arrange that. So Justin says, Eric, if you bring cookies, then we all get cookies. There you go.
I don't
Sherry
share
here. Good. Yeah, Sherry here. Good evening. Thanks for the ultra kind words, Eric. I have to give some credit to the darkness that started it all too, though. There you go. Thank you for referencing the darkness. We really appreciate you. All right, so here I saw multiple people on Reddit say in a thread they were going to buy cards because of the ones that got posted. Oh, maybe he's talking about that the Upper Deck cards. Clarify if you could, Bob Jackson. I'm not sure. Let's make sure. Jeff here. Good evening. Absolutely. Name here. There you go. Name's back. Good stuff.
Oh, this is getting worse and worse.
Terrible. I'm guessing by the training wheels on Eric's bike. I don't think he's been in too many fights. Average Joe card collector. Dang. Down goes Wade. Down goes Wade. Oh my God. All right. Tim Duncan signing a deal with Panini. I wasn't too familiar with it, but I think it's good for them to sign whoever they can at this point. It's probably wise. It's a good idea. When does Eric have time for Arm Day when he spends his time carrying the show? See, the problem is you were trying to write carrying, but you just wrote caring. He carries the show. He cares the show. He cares the show so hard.
Show at all.
I think that's a Freudian typo, Bobby. I think it's a Freudian typo. He's not carrying the show. He's carrying the show.
This crap.
Yep, people saw the UD portraits. Some hated them. Some loved them. Some even said they would buy cards because of them.
No one loved them.
I got you. I don't know. Believe it or not, I've seen some people. I've seen some people that gave me back that feedback.
No, if we find listen.
All right, I'm going to mute him for a minute so I can finish reading these comments. All right, I wouldn't want you to see you guys talk hockey. I can get Talking Heads a podcast. I listen to Talking Heads at the channel for card talk. Let's talk some more hockey then. Oh my God. All right, let's do the Justin Gamble one just so I can talk about it briefly here. All right, I'm going to come back. I wanted to get caught up in the comments, so thank you. Thank you all. It's actually a typo. They mean scaring the show. Probably true. All right, Justin Gamble. Let's talk about this one here for a minute. I'll give the background just so we're all on the same page, and then we can talk about it here for a second. All right. So Justin Gamble, popular YouTube channel. He's been able to build up a big following in a short period of time. That means he's going to be one of those people that are going to get a lot of the attention from folks that are looking at it and saying to themselves, okay, so who's this kid? Why is he in cars? Blah, blah, blah. And it's very clear from the blogs that he's focusing more on style over substance. He doesn't know that much about cards because a lot of times he pulls together a lot of stuff. Here's where the scamming thing comes in. He decided with very little experience in the hobby, doing only a little bit of flipping, and that's kind of the full extent of experience, and being able to build a big following, he decided to do a repack product. I think on Whatnot or another platform, one of them. Anyway, so bottom line, he's doing this repack product. And some of those repacks that he's got in there are pretty expensive. They're not cheap. And the big problem is this. The problem is as people watch the videos and they saw a lot of the things that came with it, right? they realized that a lot of the repacks, you know, it'd be like a $350 repack and you get like a $30 card or something. Like it wasn't even close. It was, you know, now part of that is market moving. You bought it at a certain price, expected it to be a certain price point, and then it changed. But at the same time, he doesn't list a checklist, which is a red flag. He doesn't make clear what the real bottoms. It becomes a super gambling product. Repacks are always gambling products. Let's be fair about that. Now, the whole idea about
aren't they even legal?
well, technically, yeah, because what's the name? Well, because there's really no, it doesn't fall under any specific category. Like if we just talk about like if I take a repack in the sense of buying boxes, taking packs, and putting those in a box, that's a repack product, but it's not individual cards; it's packs, and people can do that, and people sell those at Walmart. Like at Walmart, you can buy repack products; they've got packs in there, and that's been going on for decades now. So it's not like it's a new thing. So apparently nobody had an issue with it before.
I think there's licensing involved with that, though.
It could be, but regardless, they've been able to do it. So people replicated that same model, and then people took it a step further and did individualized cards.
I know.
Now, where it becomes problematic is that it becomes a matter of disclosure. The whole idea of putting a checklist is probably smart because a checklist at least makes sure that people know what's possible to be pulled in there. It lets them kind of figure out their odds and make choices. Now, there's a two-part to this. There's the example of the Justin Gamble Gambler, one person who's an influencer, hasn't done a lot of these before, and hasn't done a lot of these before, and is trying to just use his his clout that he has in order to try to sell it. That's all well and good, but the problem is now that means since it's new to you, you need to be extra careful. So the reality is whether it's a scammer or not is about intent, but the result is still the same. You're still pulling a lot of these packs and getting a fraction of the value that people are getting. Neo did a separate video on repacks that wasn't talking about this specific issue. It's talking about it providing liquidity because, and this is where I was going to ask Brad, help me out, Brad. There's a company that that buys for a lot of repack products. The name escaping me right now, but they literally go to shows and buy a ton of singles to put in their repack product. What's the name of it?
Hit Parade or the Hit Parade.
That's the one. That's the one I was thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they literally will go and buy stuff. They'll go around and buy tables and buy nice cards, and they'll put that in their product. But they've got different series, different types. They've got ones with autographed jerseys and this, that, and the other thing. They built a whole segment of business based on this concept. I can't treat them the same, even though they're both repack products. So the Justin Gamble repack product and the Hit Parade one are technically the same genre, even though there's a very big difference in how they're presented, and also the level of professionalism, if you want. I don't care if you like them or not. What I'll say is this. I know for a fact they buy a lot of stuff. I wouldn't buy a repack. So I can say multiple things at the same time. I can say I've seen a lot of good cards come out of them. I wouldn't personally buy one because it's not my cup of tea to take that type of gamble. But I can also tell you the Hit Parade, that's why I wanted to make sure I got the right name. I can tell you for a fact I've bought singles on eBay that are in one touches with the little Hit Parade sticker. It's AKA cards that go in my collection. I have purchased from someone who got them from the repack product. So actual cards were pulled by somebody and in turn made it to the end collector. So that is possible. It is also true that they can be used as an avenue to give stolen cards. It's an avenue to be able to pass along cards that have an issue. It's a way of getting rid of junk that people don't want to hang on to or deal with. All of those things are true. All of them. But it's also true that somebody can be taking a altered or scammed card or stolen card on a dealer booth at a card show. And all avenues, whatnot sales. All of this is part of it. So all of these things can be true simultaneously. And cards can be pulled that then end up with the end collector. Since I bought the single, I don't care where it came from. I don't care if you pulled it in the pack originally. I don't care if you got it from a repack product. I don't care if you bought it from somebody and then decided to resell it, and that's how I get it, as long as I get the card I want. Mm-hmm. Is he a scammer? I don't know. But he's put himself in a position where people can question him because he wasn't able to disclose enough. You have to give a checklist of what's available. And if you're not meeting like a minimum standard and people are losing 95% of their value in buying it, it's not a good repack product, even if you want to do that. Does that help?
No.
It happens. We'll have to sell it. We'll have to sell the repacks through the app, Bobby. That'll fix it.
Ever buy.
I'm doing repacks. That's it. So lemon and cards.
It all depends what market you like. Some people like that. Some people like opening boxes. Some people like buying singles. Some people like going to the casino, playing the slots. Some like playing the blackjack. It's all part of the whole ecosystem, right? Everyone's got their thing.
True.
Just because you don't like it, Eric, doesn't mean it's wrong.
No, you're
Well, usually my standard is if Eric doesn't like it, it's probably right.
Yeah.
That's a different issue.
I just
Usually.
can't see where a company gets to just get a box and throw whatever they want in it, and they're not throwing in great stuff. They're not making any money if they're throwing in $5,000 cards.
Wait, so you're saying the packs have nothing but Boston Bruins and Reggie Lemon?
Okay.
Don't.
Too bad.
There we go.
So Hockey 99 is asking, Brad, do you know if what I like is Hockey 99 will literally just pick any random second tier, third tier Hall of Famer and be like, nobody cares. It's like, well, there you go. Nobody cares. You solved the problem.
Yep.
Eric's been carrying a case of crumble cookies. That's why his arms have grown. You got any more crumble cookies you're carrying?
Crumble. One of our first sponsors. We're very proud to still have them. And again, if you are in Canada, we still have time to get to one of the new Crumble locations and use our coupon code of Because I'm Carlos for a 5% discount on your order.
Exciting times. The link, the code won't work, but otherwise exciting times. All right, this was a quick one for you, Eric. Eric, who's your favorite coach going up? And now, Don Cherry, Harrison, Mike Milbury. Thanks.
Terry O'Reilly.
Wow.
Oh, he went further.
Ooh. Spicy.
If he didn't say Terry, he'd get beat up. So, anyways.
Yeah, by Terry.
Hockey says, I would never buy a repack. Fair. I like to control my destiny. You have no control of your destiny. None of us do. Brad, what are your thoughts on Card HQ? I think this is a good question. This is a valid question. So for the uninitiated, most of you pretty much know what it is now. Okay, so question. 14,000 square foot shop at this day and age. That's a lot of money up front. It's a big build out and everything. And they're going to have to buy a crap ton of cards. I saw Bobbles is over in Chantilly right now. And he took some pictures and they're out there buying cards. So the question is, all right, and they're going to have to buy a ton. If they're going to try to fill up the amount of showcases and stuff they're trying to do, they're going to need tons of that. And they're relying a lot on breaking. They're hinging a lot on that breaking relationship. So here's the question. What are we going to do as far as, is that a sustainable model? Because, Brad, we've talked about in the past about how much cost it is to keep buying inventory, to keep rolling it through. And this is even a bigger version of that. And not to mention the security questions that we have about how that's going to work out. So what do you think? I'll open the floor to you.
Honestly, I think he's going to do great. I think and the main reason is because he's going to go at this from every angle possible. He's going to have breaking. He's going to have, obviously he has a good allotment coming in from the manufacturers. He's going to sell single cards. He's going to have kid zones. He's also, my assumption is he's going to have his sports card investor team in the same building. So you're taking all these costs and you're putting it all under one roof. And he's going to have revenue sources coming in from 15 avenues. He's not just opening up a shop to rely on boxes. He's not just opening up a breaking shop. Like you kind of have to have your hand in everything. And I said that all along, like in order to make it, you got to have your hand in everything. And he's a smart, like some people who obviously there's lots of people that like him. There's people that dislike him. He's obviously a smart businessman. He's been very successful, and
but he hasn't been overly successful on the card recommendations. So
no, but why?
Just saying. That's it.
Yeah, but if you put it out there all the time, if I put out there as much as he did, and again, I'm not going to get into defending but if I put out as much, if people are constantly asking me what I think, man, I have a lot of losers as well. As Carlos and Eric, and especially when it comes to certain sports. But again, when you constantly put yourself out there like that, if every day I got on the show and I said, Bobby, who's your pick this week? Who could be a potential good investment in the hockey card market? And if we did that every week over the year, 52 times, we're going to have 10 people. We'll look back next year and go, what the hell were you thinking, Bobby? Do you know anything about hockey? And then honestly, and then people just run with that, right?
Well, I think also in fairness, though, that was a choice. You didn't have to enter into that realm at all. Like that was a decision. It's just, you know, I've teased you about the Alec Manoa, but at least it's kind of been fun. And it's like, look, you made a call. I would have advised against this, but you made a call. Yeah. And I go out of my way to be like, look, I'm not going to predict prospects for you. I have no idea. I don't have. And by the way, you can get it right, and the person could just get injured. What if you're right? What if they had the skills and the ability and the desire and everything, but then he gets hurt? And then all of a sudden your grand master plans were broken, not because he did anything wrong or because they did anything wrong. It's just bad luck.
Yeah.
That happens.
But, you know, I don't think he's not going back on anything he said. He says, yeah, I made some bad choices.
And I think look, all I'll say is, as far as I'm aware, in all discussions about anything related to Cards HQ so far, he has stated that he's got people who are going to do the buying and they're not him. So good. Right. The good news is he won't be making the judgment calls on what they're buying, and it's probably for the best.
Yeah. The only thing that kind of makes me nervous about that, if they're out there this heavy buying at all these shows now and they're going to open up sometime next year, obviously they have a lot of faith in the marketplace right now. Because you could be out there buying at 70% comps on a lot of this modern stuff that when the time your shop opens, they could be down 20% right out of the get-go. You know, if you were buying all vintage or you were buying certain things, definitely. But if you're buying modern sports cards, it's a bit of a heavy gamble to start buying that stuff 6-8 months ahead of schedule. But again, you know what? They must know what they're doing. So
it's a gamble.
What's funny is I was going to point out that's the risk you're taking when you're playing that game, doing it that way. Is that like, well, what happens if you try to buy so how low percentage do you have to pay to mitigate that risk enough, because you're taking a chance anyway? So it's like,
it'd take you 2 years to return an investment, to reinvest, to return an investment. You know that, Brad. So it's not a instant, get rich quick. It's a long-term investment and a good flipping, and you have to have somebody key who's in there and knows the marketplace. So
big time.
100%. So that's kind of why I say, like, well, good luck to them, but I have a lot of questions, and we're gonna have to see what that looks like, what kind of plan they have on it. I'll quickly read a couple of these here. Hit parades are no great value long run, no matter who sells it, but it's on par with breaks. I think it's a little riskier than breaks, but I get your general point. He's just this guy's in it, up to debate. He's been able to sell some of that stuff. Tops and Panini and make a box with 80% loss expectation. Yeah, that's kind of the counterpoint, is that even regular box breaks have massive potential losses. So that's reality. Justin says, cheers, Bobby. Brad, grab a beer. I think he needs his Red Bull. Let's keep him upright. Yeah. So Carlos, I list many players that are esteemed Hall of Famers, but you already said no one cares. So they're not that esteemed. Counterpoint. Jeff Wilson's shop looks cool to me. There you go. Fair enough. Eric, I know you have his auto, but have you ever met Chief in person?
Yeah, many times. I'm trying to find a picture of him and I.
Johnny?
Yeah, Johnny Busick. Yeah, I met him many times. And I know I have pictures of me and him. I'm just trying to find them, but I can come back to that.
You'd find them if you had them, but you don't have them. So let's move
on.
I
don't have them. Never mind. I don't have them, I guess. I never. It was just in my...
Never met the guy. It was just introduced.
We had the Chief in Toronto. He was George Armstrong.
Well,
I got pictures of me with
him. Don't be worried. I have a picture with both Chiefs, and that's the one I'm looking for.
Right.
Ooh.
Here they are. Well, yep, here we go. All right.
Who's the other? Fred Saskamoose?
Chief Bender.
Nope. We got, because this is me, John Busick, Stan Jonathan. And Stan Jonathan writes the real Chief on autographs sometimes.
All right, and who's the dude literally lurking in the background above Buddy's head?
Who's look at that picture imposed in the background?
Oh, I actually know the guy in the background.
total creeper. That was the first thing I saw in that picture.
Actually, above Stan's head is Mike, so I actually know Mike.
Any reason Mike needed to stand in the shot directly right there? That's fantastic.
It is. But so those are the two Chiefs in Boston, other than Robert Parrish, who's also the Chief. But those are the two hockey Chiefs right there.
What was the saying? Too many Chiefs. No, anyways.
There you go. All right, so let me scroll through here.
I had to cut that one.
And if name is still here, he knows that Stan Jonathan will write the real Chief on some of his autographs if you ask him to.
Yep. So Justin here says it was a decision that brought Jeff to the dance, but you have to dance with the one that brung you. G off. G off. Come on. I pronounced it that way on purpose to help you guys. G off.
I hope he's successful. He's a nice guy. You know, we met him and we talked.
I don't have an issue with him.
I
I don't have an issue with him.
have no issue with him.
Will says
Atlanta,
Carlos,
I have an issue with, but not.
clearly you have an issue with Atlanta. Will here says Carlos goes live at 5 p.m. PST with crazy ball game. Doesn't matter. It's Friday live, doing it anyway. Don't care. Surprising stuff. Sometimes I'm watching the game while I'm doing the live. I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes it happens. But Friday live must go on. Surprising some. Most fans don't give to shit people from more than 20, 30 years ago. Yeah, that's basically the bottom line on those guys. Bending Rodriguez. Yes, that's right. That's the proper Bender. Eddie Murray, 3,000 hits, 500 months. This is true. And he wasn't the most popular player to collect when he was playing.
Yeah.
But a great player, no doubt. But he wasn't the toppest. Nope. Eric, any updating your search for Dick Clapper? This is the most important thing in his life right now.
I will be searching for some dit up in yeah.
Out of context. It's like, Brad, this will come up again. You're going to Toronto to search for dit. Go on.
I will be searching for dit.
Uh-huh.
And
Boston
I'll be looking for some Aubrey.
Oh,
How
boy.
about that? I'll be looking for some Aubrey. Yeah, up in Toronto.
Uh-huh.
That was
right.
Like a photo, a card. What are you after?
Something playing era. I want to get a card, a beehive, something player era of him, because I really don't have anything. I have a couple of maybe some modern junk, stuff, but
he's pretty big high end star for what it's worth. So
if
probably
I
best to get a
my
beehive.
price range, I'm going to try to grab it.
Well,
Yeah,
I did confirm that Paul V is going to be in Toronto for this next one. So you might have to commission him to find one for you.
There you go.
Okay, we'll see.
Now you know. Let's see. For the Burrell, have you ever chief in Toronto? Have you chiefed?
Have you ever
George
chief?
Armstrong? No, I actually never ended up meeting him. I have this like he was in that movie Slapshot. Slapshot, right? I think it was one of those. And I was going to get his autograph because he's there with the other actor in the movie. I can't even remember it now.
Paul Newman?
No, it wasn't Slapshot. It was the other movie, Face Off. Sorry.
Okay.
So yeah, Face Off. So I have this poster from original poster. So I had him and who's the guy? What's his name?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Okay, whatever.
No, that was a hockey movie called Face Off with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It wasn't. It was the Face Off wasn't with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No,
I think that's a different one. It was. Wasn't it like Sudden Death?
Yeah. Sudden Death was him. Yes,
yeah. Face Off was with Nicolas Cage
and
John Travolta.
And
I love that movie.
John Travolta. Which was a hilarious movie, hysterical. I enjoyed it.
Great.
It was awesome.
I love Face Off. Yeah, I love that movie. Yeah,
it doesn't involve hockey at all. Just to be clear.
No, not at all. No.
All right, your buddy Dom here.
No.
Yes. Hola, Carlos, panel and chat, folks. Hope everyone's having a great day. Thank you as well. Hockey bringing up the dramas always. Good evening, gents. Brad, can't wait to see the new PSA Canada at the Expo. How's the setup going? So let me talk about this one because I saw that they did the floor plan. We'll talk about it more as we get closer. But I did notice that they had set it up where they're going to kind of put you guys over with the autograph signing. So first, any thoughts about that? That's kind of an interesting configuration. I guess it forces a lot of people that way for a lot of stuff. But it's going to feel kind of crowded, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I don't think. I know when we talked about it, and I talked with Steve about it. I mean, I don't know how many times, but I think the big thing is if you're going to do it and we're going to move everything from the old spaces, you have to have everyone together. And there was no way to configure it any other way by PSA bringing, 8 or 9,000 square feet is the size of the space that we're going to have there. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. There's no other way to do it.
Almost half of the Cards HQ.
Yeah, there you go. Almost half the Cards HQ. But there was no other way to do it. So to put us all over there in the court, that means anyone that anyone that's going to be great, and it's not like really an impulse thing, they're going to come over that way, and I think it's great. So,
well, the autograph guests are there too. The pavilion is there, so
yeah.
2-in-1 is actually, it really works. And I actually said at the end of the last expo, I said you guys should be over there because that would be a beautiful place, and you'd have lots of space because it was kind of a waste of a space. A lot of people didn't go there. We'd had remember that signing for the Hanson brothers were all over there, and it was kind of wasn't utilized properly. And I think this time around it'll be utilized perfectly. And I think a lot of traffic will go down that hallway. Obviously. So
I think it forces. It is good news.
People to stand.
It is good news as well, I will say. Like I said, we'll see how it plays out when it's configured and everything. I will say, though, it does bode well for the guys who have the booths in the hallway leading over to the other hall, because you are forcing a ton of traffic. You have to go through there. You don't have a choice. So you're going to see those booths no matter what, which obviously enhances the booths a little bit and forces way more traffic into that other room just naturally for everything.
And when you guys get to see the booth too, it's absolutely fantastic. So it's a booth similar to what they had at the National, but the amount of, again, this is not me plugging that, this is me saying this truthfully, the amount of effort that the whole marketing team, the sales team, and everyone has put in to come up here and do business in Canada and to show that they get it. I don't want to say too much about the booth, but you're going to see the theme. Obviously, we're Canadians. We're big on hockey. All these things, from advertising, the pricing in Canadian dollars, which payments are actually going to have to still be taken in USD, but they're going to do the comparison. But the prices we advertise are in Canadian because that was a big issue in the past. There's lots of American companies came out. All these things, that the effort that is put in behind this to make sure that they understand the Canadian market, it's been phenomenal. And there's a team of, literally 20, 30 people working on this every day right now to make this happen. I'm quite confident we're going to get the support for it. So they will come back again. I really hope so. I'm nervous. Some days I think, oh man, is this going to work? And then there's other days I'm nervous on the other side where I start to go, I think we're going to have too many cards. Like that's the other side of the
definitely
equation.
Going to happen.
Right? There's a quota. Like you can only do so many cards, and it's like,
I know.
So there's, like I said, good days, bad days overall, but I am beyond excited for it. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting some of them. They wanted to meet me, so it was good. Tim Wong and a few other guys. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I've been helping them out a lot lately. They keep on emailing me, asking me questions. I'm going, now you're getting it. I can't come to you. You got to come to me and ask me. You got my books. I'm not on your payroll.
Bobby, Eric's going to have the same thing. They're bringing him in to look at they're looking at all the Reggie Lemon to authenticate. Now, the problem is he's also the one submitting them. So I'm a little worried that there's a bit of a conflict of interest there. He's also the one authenticating. That's what I'm concerned about. Just saying, I'm worried. I got concerns.
Reggie.
Real quick, I'll read a couple of these here. For Carlos and Brad, have you ever met any chiefs in your lifetime? Saskamoose, Sitting Bull or otherwise? I met Chief Bender.
Well, Fred
Chief Bender's long since dead. Yeah. I also this is the third straight question about Chiefs. Move on. Nicholas Cage and John Travolta. I want his face off. It's a good quote. Anyways, back to hockey cards. Does anyone know what Jeremy got for 97 Gretzky first auto jersey last night? $150.
Sorry.
Face off is so bad it's good. Damn right it is.
It is, yes.
That's peak Nicholas. That's peak Nicholas Cage. Mwah.
It was beautiful.
It really was. Makes sense for autos. Are going to be in one hall. If you're going to do the lineup, go to that room. Yeah, pretty much. That's what I think the thought process is. Not a bad idea. Go ahead.
Well, I want to go back to asking Brad a question, but I want to ask Webb a question. Are you going to the Expo again this year? We met very briefly last year, and I want to know if you're going again this year.
Seems fair. Thank you for that. Good stuff. And I'm caught up on the comments. So can I share a quick story? I
want to ask Brad a freaking question.
What was you paused for like a minute. It's like, is it a question about his name, his quest, and his favorite color?
I raised my hand. I have been patient. I want to ask Brad a serious question, and now he left. That's fine. I don't care. Stupid Brad. Everybody's stupid, and I hate you. You all suck. I hate this show. I hate Fridays. I wake up on Fridays and I'm instantly miserable because I know I have to do this crap. Hate it. Stupid.
I feel good about that entire sequence. And now I'm going to intentionally skip Eric's question and move on.
It was a good question.
I just wonder what made Eric go night riding to bury all those bodies last night. Fair. Webb says, of course, all 4 days. I'll be sure to see you in a lap or two. There you go.
Excellent. Good.
Perfect. All right. Ask your question to Brad because then I got a story. Go.
All right, Brad. Obviously, PSA is going to be making a huge effort up there this year with this is kind of a new business, really, a new business venture for them. You guys coming together and doing this. And you're teasing that it's going to be huge. Are they also going to be authenticating autographs? Okay. So having it in the autograph pavilion makes a lot of sense because they could turn to their left, get something signed, turn to their right, and go right over to PSA and get that authenticated, possibly slabbed, possibly all these other, types of things. So that sounds like a great place for you guys to be, especially if you're doing authentication also.
Yeah, no, 100%. And PSA DNA is going to be there. They will not be encapsulating there, but they will be stickering everything and taking encapsulatings home. So they've got, I think they just released the show specials as well. I think PSA, I think it's $10. $10 for anyone signing at the show to get stickered. And I'm going to say $19 US for anyone that's under $35 in the tier. So I should know that. I'll have to check in. It's all on the site. There's so many different things, but
that's fantastic. I mean, $10, to get a sticker put on a puck that you just got signed, that just increased the value more than $10.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a process.
It's again, and this is all learning for me. I know that we started at the show 3 years ago with me and Sherry. Two of us set up with 2 computers at a booth as PSA Canada. We had our banner, and all of a sudden 100 people showed up in the lineup, and we sat there from the morning. It was just us from the morning till it closed, and we didn't know what we were in. We talked about it today, and now we went from 2 to 4 to 8, and now we're going to have close to I'm just going to say close to 100 people. This is a big operation and a big investment. And I'm beyond excited for it. So
I know, that everyone knows that I hate you and I don't want to say nice things about you because it hurts me deep inside. But last year, what you and your team did was nothing short of a miracle. There was no busier booth at the Expo. You were 20 people deep all day, every day, non-stop. I don't know how you guys did it because I think you did it maybe with 5 of you.
Yeah.
And I know that all of us kept saying, what can we do to help? What can we do to help? And you just, typical Brad smile. No, everything's great. Everything's great. Any other person would turn around, look at that chaos, and the last thing they would think is everything's great. No, they would look and say, the sky is falling. The sky
That's what, Brad, I was assuming you were going to bring Eric on as, the minister of positivity to help. I thought that, to give the inspirational word to the troops.
I would have done anything big or small for you, buddy. That was amazing. 5 of you pulled off last year. It was nonstop. From the moment the doors opened until they were thrown out, you guys just never took a breath. It was remarkable what you guys did last year.
That's
and
awesome.
Now that you have the backing of the juggernaut of PSA that are bringing up all these different people, I'm hoping that you personally won't be so flooded, and maybe you can have a little more fun and get out on the floor more and hang out and things like that. I mean, obviously you're working, but hopefully you won't be under that much stress than you were last year. That was just nuts.
Yeah. No, I do appreciate that. I again, like you, I absolutely despise having to be nice to you right now, but I do appreciate that.
I never let that stop me. I just go the other way. Like it's easy for me.
I understand.
It's easy for me. It works out great.
Brad will have less time. Trust me.
Yeah.
But it's good, right? You look at it, and even like
it's good fun. Yeah.
Hopefully, like part of my role as director of market development in Canada is to improve upon things. Can I change the world? Absolutely not. I mean, this is a massive company, but can we make a difference? 100%. Can I use input from Carlos? Can I use input from Bobby? Like Bobby just said, PSA is starting to reach out more and do things. Like obviously, Canada's a big part of PSA's operation, and they're willing to invest in this country to make things easier at the end of the day. Obviously, they're doing it to make money. They're a business, but they also want to make it easier for Canadians to submit cards. And that's what our goal is. And to get it right, you have to get it right. So the more information that Bobby, like you can provide, it all helps, right?
Makes
I'm
sense.
getting
Makes sense.
emails about American baseball now from them. It's like,
yeah.
I'm helping them with some stuff.
What happened in the? Did you guys see what happened in the baseball game?
So the Astros came back to win that game. That's where Dakota here is. Dakota here is a big Astros fan, so that's why he's. I put the comment on here to acknowledge it. Thank you, Dakota. All right, real quick. Let me read a couple of these, and then I'll touch on. Hagi's got like 50 questions for you. Every time he sees you, Brad, he's very excited to see you. You realize you could just email the man some of your questions. It might be a way it works out for you. But all right, I'll get to a couple of them here in a second. Paul here says, is the Expo only deal in the 19? So Brad will confirm what the deal is, but a lot of these are Expo deals. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. That's the 19. Yeah, $19 for anyone that's listed as 35. Again, I'm just learning that. I'm going to expand my horizon with PSA DNA because it's still confusing to me. Yeah. I shouldn't say it's confusing. It's a process. You have to go to the site, you put in the person, you see what they're signing, what's it on, and then you can determine the price. But
yeah, for sure. All right, let me scroll through here quickly. Good evening,
that's through
Stu.
the app or
the app or online, you can do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Thank you, Stu. Good evening. Bob Jackson says Eric would have swept the floor for you. Facts.
I should have said if Sherry asked me to sweep.
Too late now. You already covered it.
I would have done.
Nothing.
Let me go here. I love the jokes getting through to the Astro trash can jokes. All right, moving on. Hockey. This is like investing 101. Don't pull your eggs in one basket. Facts. Like if you see a pension or company you work for, don't buy more of the stock. There you go. Thank you, Will. Perfect. I was going to touch on one thing. So we'll talk about Series 1 here in a second. I wanted to make sure I got caught up. And we'll touch on a couple of Hockey's questions, just to be nice. But before we do that, I want to point out that Carlos Sr. is he's the perfect example of the person who doesn't give a crap's luck. So obviously we got Series 1, but one of the other things that has been out now for some weeks is the Tim Hortons hockey cards. You all know Tim Hortons hockey cards. Yeah. Carlos Sr. likes to buy a coffee and buy a couple of packs. That's his deal. He loves to open the packs. That's all he cares about. There you go. Perfect. So Carlos Sr. will buy a coffee and then open 2 packs. So I was over yesterday at the house because they needed some help fixing the router, tech support, call the son and I'll go fix it for you. So I did that. And I also got their internet package price reduced. Turned out Bell was ripping them off. So I had to help them out a little bit with that. Took care of that business for them. But then after, what's that?
You get a dinner out of it?
I usually get a dinner out of it, yeah. But then the other thing was my dad being super helpful. He handed me 2 packs of the Tim Hortons. Here you go. Here's your payment. And of course they're already opened. Of course they're already opened because he opens the packs. So, obviously. But here's the thing. So I want to show the card. But so he pulled one of the Ice Gems Ovechkins.
Oh, nice.
And the thing is, these are 1 in 80 packs. So he literally will buy a coffee and just open 2 packs. He's done that twice. And he's pulled a lot of the regular stuff. But then in the second set of 2 packs, he pulled this thing. And I was sitting there really, dude?
A week, so.
Really, dude? I was like, of course. I swear I could open 800 packs and I wouldn't pull shit.
Yeah.
That's usually the way it goes. But the old man, Carlos Sr. opens up 2 packs and he gets one of these. These are like $35-$40 right now on eBay, give or take. So I was like, all right. Fair enough.
I thought they might even be a little more. I thought that was like $75.
I think the last couple have sold for about $35-$40. Usually when very first ones that come out do really well, but it's 1 in 80 pack, which is pretty good. It's a snazzy looking card. I like it. The shine is on it is nice and everything. But
Brad, I'm looking it for 75, so you're okay.
There
you go. That's right. Yeah. So I just laughed. I literally sent him the picture. I go, of course you would pull this crap.
Yeah, it's coming.
Makes sense. Yep, makes sense. All right, let me touch on this. This is actually a good question. A couple of them are kind of generic, but this one's a good one. Brad, what's the difference for you in terms of being an employee versus being a bulk submitter? Pros and cons.
Honestly, it's pretty much the same thing from the submission center standpoint. We're still doing the whole thing, but we've hired 2 full-time people, which is going to be a huge help for me. One's going to be customer service and invoicing, and the other is the logistics side of things. So that was very nice. So adding 2 people, as you can imagine, to the team, very, very good for me. So really, it's the same thing. The market development side is a lot of fun. A lot of interesting data, getting to see all the different things that I didn't know before, and growing it. We want to have a submission center in each province across the country. So if you don't want to ship your cards yourself, you have a place that you can walk into your local hobby shop, someone trusted, give those cards to them, let them do the work for you, and then you can come back and pick them up when they're ready. So that's the goal.
So you hired a shipper and a phone answer. I got it. Okay.
Yeah. So
what do you think? What do you think Eric's going to do? He got to answer the phone and be friendly to the people.
Yeah.
5% more mature. 5% more mature.
Don't get Eric in there. He'll get mad.
Let me tell you.
Well, it's not on a Monday, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I'm only 5% more mature on Mondays.
Yeah, that's true.
Facts. Speaking of which, we've got our podcasts, which are recorded on Mondays and drop on the channel on Tuesdays with myself, Bougie Eric, and Bobbles and Ball Cards. And I think if everything goes according to plan, he should be able to tell us a little bit about the Chantilly card show, which should be fun. He's going to be able to give us a little insight, which would be really nice if we can get that. So you need to bring a PSA on-site grading to the Langley show. I think it's going to be tough to do in some of the show. Like Expo makes a lot of sense for them, but in perfect world, of course, it'd be awesome to have on-site grading at a lot of the bigger shows. It'd be cool. But the Expo is probably like the obvious launching point. I guess we'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, and honestly, what you need, what goes into it to make it happen, I don't see it being anywhere else besides once a year, maybe twice a year. In Toronto, I think that's
the fall show is probably if you're going to pick something strategically, the fall show is probably the one that, again, we got this year. Upper Deck did do us a solid by getting Series 1 out prior to Expo so people can have it. So that's huge because guaranteed people will be breaking boxes and boxes and boxes of that stuff at the Upper Deck booth and pulling some of the young guns and getting them graded.
Doesn't usually come out graded at Expo.
Yeah.
In years past, yes. And
this
it was
always chaos, right? Chaos for the dealers.
It's mayhem.
The dealers get their boxes on the Wednesday. They're trying to open. They're trying to have singles. They're trying to have it priced. I think it was awesome that I don't know the reasons behind it, but I hope that could be one of them. Get it out into the hands, and that's going to make it awesome at the show for people building their sets, going after
good
things.
Timelines, yes. Yeah.
It gives you a little bit of a buffer window because you can get the product out. People get excited, open up. Some people will be able to just bring their cards and get the grading going and just do it there. And then other people will open the boxes and pull like a big hit or something. And then plenty of incentive to walk it over and bring it over to the booth while you're there.
And that's why we're releasing the app in the next week. And the Expo will be basically the, formidable sort of release at that point, So
did you put like in brackets except for Eric? Like, just to make it clear to everybody, like, not for Eric.
Did I say app?
Yeah.
All right.
No. I think you meant appetizer.
More app.
Appetizer, dinner.
App.
Yeah, appetizer.
APT.
Yeah. For sure.
I like appetizers. That I believe that he can actually give me.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
We got lots of hot dogs with pepper. Don't you worry.
I do like hot dogs and pepper, but not the hot dogs that they have there. Those things are gross.
You got to go outside for the hot dogs.
I was going to say, Eric, peasants eat the food inside. That ain't happening.
It's the outside you have to go. Yes.
I'm looking forward. So, Brad, what I'm looking forward to, and this is where I get to spread rumors now. So, in the past, there's been, the back room and then the PSA Canada booth where it's, snacks and things like that. So now that you're all fancy collectors, universe, collectors, like I'm expecting I come in and all of a sudden it's like a full service bar. And it's like, oh, Mr. Alcazar, can we pour you a drink? It's like, well, yes, you can, good sir. All of a sudden it's the Overlook Hotel from The Shining.
That will now be the team at AMG and supplying all that.
It'll be amazing. Okay, gotcha. Another booth.
Need those massage chairs, the recliners that massage. I expect those this year, please.
We
Absolutely.
give Eric a small plastic chair, and that's what he has to sit in. We give him one of those tiny little plastic chairs. Defects of Life here. Good evening. I work for Crumble and buy 100% of the stock, as you should.
And eat 100% of the cookies.
I eat 100% of the stock. Yeah, that's
Possibly.
It was a typo.
So, all right, I'll read this one here. Do you see card collectors, investors as people? I just want to stop there. Do you see them as people? No. I'll just stop reading at that point. As people, or people that live in the city, is it 50-50? So suburbs versus city folk in terms of demographics.
Suburbs. A lot of people I ship out of, in the outskirts more than even in the city. Surprisingly, I get a lot of people in small towns that buy from me, and whatever I do. It's kind of interesting. That more so than local. So, just say. And Toronto's pretty big, so.
Yeah. Obviously, though, it's also helped a lot that we're in the internet age, right? The suburbs don't mean what they once did. It's accessibility is like there for everybody. They can get access to a lot of stuff. So that helps a lot. That's huge. But if it wasn't accessible, that'd be an issue. So I like the Bob Jackson question. What if they live in a shoe? What category does that fall in? Valid question. Bob Jackson asking some good questions. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to share that story with the Tim Hortons because apparently Carlos Sr. is the only one who can pull anything good. Figures. Makes sense. Checks out.
I don't have for my stat, I have none.
Yeah. Is that the old lady who lived in a shoe?
Here you go. International Borders. Good evening. Haven't checked in a while. Tunes in to Eric talking about massages. I know. It's deeply disturbing. It really is.
There's no rub and tugs up here.
Just saying.
I'll come anyway.
They'll come anyway.
Despite that. Let me see here. I do want to say, I want to give credit. Finally, somebody, I think Billy Celio personally, finally shoved a couple of those blasters over the border to Walmart. They finally put it on the website, and I didn't actually have to go into the store like a peasant. So I was able to order online. I'm very excited about this. It's very exciting.
It's so tedious walking the Walmart rows,
Yeah, just to go to the one spot, just to grab the thing. Oh, God. Just ship it to me. It's free shipping. Let's go.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I don't care if Mickey Mantle lives in the house. I'm not putting good money in Oklahoma real estate. Dufix, I feel you. I get it. I get it, man. I get it. Dr. Scoosvier, evening, guys. Does Brad know if Nat Turner is coming to Expo? Do we get a Nat visit? Does he deign show up dressed up like a UD Portraits king?
That I cannot answer.
I know he is.
If I knew the answer, I would answer it, but I don't know the answer, so I can't.
We talk. Don't worry. I know he's coming. Nat's coming.
There you go.
So am I to assume that there's a possibility I could see a Nat and a Dit?
No.
There you go.
Settle down, Eric.
Nat knows to stay away from you. Like he heard that from Marcel Dion personally.
If you feel that Eric should pay for his crimes against humanity, I want to remind you all that we do have AMG support, and we appreciate it greatly. And I do much love for the AMG Collectibles folk and the AMG Collectibles YouTube channel, which we're working on. But I must remind you that the likes on this channel are still the domain of one Bougie Eric. So he will pay for every like. So if you want to ease his pain or make it worse, whatever your preference is, remember to hit up the like button because I charge Eric for every single one of them. And for some of the jokes that he's given, I might have to charge him quintuple.
There's nothing to like. Why would anybody hit a like button? This is
well, make a pitch, Eric. Why would we not like this?
Because it sucks.
What? Huh? Reggie Lemonin? What does that have to do with anything? He sucks. Yeah, I agree. He's terrible. Trash. Who would collect Eric, Brad? Who would collect such a peasant? Like terrible, trash, horrific, just unbelievable. Like, what is this? See, Brad, this is what you've been missing. Like, this is right. This is the proper content that all the people appreciate.
And
like, look, this is the kind of crap that Justin Gamble would put in his breaks and his repacks, and that's the reason why it's worthless. Everybody lost their money. It's terrible.
Trying to block the bottom.
I know, it's awful. It's atrocious. Oh my God.
Oh, jeez.
All right, let me read here quick. So if hockey card collectors skew towards the burb, does that mean a lot less younger people are involved? Not based on my experiences at the show. There seem to be plenty of young people at least at the bigger shows, let's say. Although Bobby, to be fair, the CSC show seemed pretty well stocked with. And in fairness, they had a lot of the TCG and the Pokemon and stuff. So obviously, lots of
30 and
enthusiasm
under
for
was
that, though.
30 and under was pretty predominant. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on. I liked, as you should. Reggie and Natalin, lemon in. I know. No lime in the Corona. Terrible. If you buy something from someone who has 2 gambles in their nickname, you definitely need some extended couch time. Facts, Will. Facts. Okay, can we make a serious point? Occasionally we'll do that, but we make a serious point for a second? Forget about Justin Gamble, but he's a good example. But he's a good example of like the general concept. He goes back to the same idea.
I know you wanted to be serious, but you know, you just said gamble. It is a good example, right?
Oh, exists.
Didn't
Yes,
say
I did.
example.
Eric, that was not an accident. Eric,
but he didn't.
there are a few. Sometimes when I do something like that, that is not an accident. Moving on.
I just want to make sure.
Focus, Eric. Focus, Eric. That was intentional. That's why I kept rolling.
Okay. Here we go.
But the point is, though, this is the same conversation we had when the backyard breaks guys started rising to prominence, and people complained about the backyard breaks guys. And I said at that time, one thing that people seem to keep forgetting, and this is their own damn fault. That's why I don't understand. All you have to do if you're buying into a lot of these things, and this is good general advice in any way, it doesn't matter what it is. You're buying the dealer, you're buying the representative, you're buying the influencer, you're buying whatever. Like, you're spending your money, especially if you're spending a lot of money. If it's a couple of bucks, who gives a crap? It's like talking about the repack or whatever. If it's like $5 or $10, then I guess you can take a flyer. Who cares? Whatever. But if you're talking hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, like real money, like money you should be thinking about. Wait a minute. I have a question. Why wouldn't I want to do business with somebody who's at least been around for more than 10 minutes?
Because I do it just for the vibes.
Obviously, yeah. But do you understand what I'm saying, though? Like, why wouldn't? So then, like, I understand that people are upset that, they got ripped off or whatever, but it's like, but the guy has. So for Gamble, he had never done another repack. It's not like he's been here doing repacks for years and years and years, whatever. No, this is like, why do I want to be a guinea pig? I talk about not being a guinea pig. Why do I want to be the guinea pig? With the backyard breaks guys, why do I want to be one of the early adopters on a breaker that I had never heard of prior to them having all these issues and whatever? They had not been around that long. They came out of the pandemic period. There are breakers who've been around way longer who also have had questions and issues. So if the long-standing ones have had some questions and issues, why would I then go running to somebody who's been here for 27 seconds? That doesn't make any sense.
Rule number 1 is in full force.
100%. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to be serious about this for a minute. I'm asking like legitimate, why would you? And then I'm not going to feel bad for you. If you literally go to a fly-by-night shop and they rip you off, they're literally fly-by-night. Like, what do you want from me? It is what it is. That's right. People are stupid, and see rule number 1. That's right. And corruption is right for the hobby. That also applies. Rule number 3. We got 1, 2, and 3. All are all applicable. Number 4 is always applicable, but in this case, 1, 2, and 3 are the key ones. But the key thing, though, is that, like, no, but seriously, I don't understand why anyone would be ripped off with the Justin Gamble thing, because he had all the red flags of something you should have no involvement in. So then after that, I don't feel bad for you at all.
I think it's that old rap song. What's it? Don't believe the hype.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. That's it.
Don't believe. Anyways.
Oh, the Kiss AFL thing is on YouTube. Fancy.
Yeah.
Eric.
Hey.
Kiss had a arena football league team for a year or 2.
Well, in this case, we're talking about the Aussie rules one, but yes.
Yeah.
If you have an IQ over 80, then your logic is a given. No, I agree with you, Will. The problem is a lot of the hobby exhibits IQ far south of 80. And then complain to me, they're like, well, we got ripped off. Well, you're an idiot.
That's a good question.
I don't know what to tell you.
For Brad there, Alex Faulkner, how popular is that card?
Great.
Non-Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Was born and raised in Newfoundland.
Absolutely.
And that's his only claim to fame. He played for Detroit and who? Toronto, and I can't remember the other teams.
Yeah.
And here is a phenomenon where, if you put him in a book price against a regular star, he's probably pretty close.
Yeah. It's because people hoard them. Like, I know Blair that works at AMG, I think I'm going to say he has 85. Faulkners, I don't know, like it's close to 100, and
Right.
there's a whole bunch of people that do. It's kind of like you can control the market on that.
Almost.
There's a lot of guys that just keep buying them. I think I got a PSA 6, maybe. I don't think it's a 7.
Does he
think
only
Even
have one
Even
card?
his York card is really well,
Yeah.
priced too. Yeah, I just did the pricing for that, so I just went, all right, there he goes, $40.
I know.
Look, but the thing is, like, though, what Brad is saying is a valid point with a lot of the vintage stuff. You could have some obscure player be short printed just because somebody decides to hoard it because it is very easy to do, relatively speaking. You could corner a market about certain players and certain cards.
Oh, it's Bruno from New Brunswick. Do you know Bruno? I'm going to say Lausier, Losier. He's a big collector. Him and his wife, they buy tons of stuff. Anyways, he's doing it with Frank Mahovlich now, but he went after Henri Richard. He single-handedly he bought every Henri Richard, and he didn't care what he was paying for it if he had to overpay, and he bought them. This went on for years. And all of a sudden, people are like, "Oh, Henri Richard is short printed. His rookie card is short printed." It's like, no, he buys everyone that's available, and all of a sudden, there was none on the market.
Yeah,
and you'd seen the price of a PSA 1 was up over $1,000 because if you wanted to have an Henri Richard rookie, that he would just keep buying them, and he completely controlled the market, right? And that's when you really realize how easy it is for someone to control the market in this hobby that we all love.
Well, that takes a little bit of time, but yes.
You got the money and the time, absolutely.
Like,
Well, no, they have to come up, right? And they have to be on eBay. They can't just be at the show. They can't be in people's collections, So you do have to be active for quite some time to do that. It's not, it's not like there's any short, I got production numbers from 60 and 61 guys that I'll be releasing with the app, and that'll be a revelation for a lot of people.
Ooh, man. So real quick, I'll I'll actually scroll through. So first, Colin here got a Faulkner back for PSA today, a 6. There you go, Colin. Good evening.
Nice.
Justin here. I'll scale through here. I know Bruno Sammartino. Not sure what that was about, but I like it. I appreciate it out of the way.
No, you don't.
No, I'm saying I don't know where specifically Bruno Sammartino came in.
No, but I'm saying I know is present tense, and Bruno's been dead a long time. So no, you don't.
You don't know how old Bob Jackson is. Don't assume anything.
No,
I saw him wrestle in 72.
Yeah.
73,
New is past tense. No is present tense. That is just English.
You don't know if he's not a necromancer and can bring back Bruno Sammartino. Don't assume his dark mystical powers.
Bob Jackson's a liar, and I want to make sure the entire interwebs know it.
Yeah, he was the heavyweight champion.
Yep, for a long time. Yeah, he's the longest reigning WWF champion.
Probably, yeah.
Duke Brothers are trying to corner the FCOJ and vintage market. Okay, gotcha. Thank you, Dufex. It would be at my booth. Bruno got 100 Henrys. There you go.
And
yes, if we knew Bruno.
Yeah.
There you go.
So there's a Richard card. He's very underappreciated in a sense for the amount of what's he got, 11 Stanley Cups? Like, that's amazing. And the Leafs have 11 Stanley Cups. Like, come on. Like, really?
Yep. So to answer Eric's question, it's his rookie card, but he has a beehive and York peanut butter from 63-64.
Yeah.
There you go. Fair. I'll drive this rolling card in Manila to Toronto. There you go. That's right, Bob Jackson. You show him. You show that whippersnapper. FCOJ. Not sure about that one. Yeah, I don't know about that one. But thank you, Dufex. And thank you all for the comments. Appreciate it.
I got something cool I want to show. This is pretty...
What do you got?
So a friend of mine who's not into collectibles whatsoever.
Eric, go on.
Exactly. In 1992, he went to Barcelona for the Olympics, and he went to the gold medal basketball game, and he kept the 2 tickets, him and his wife.
Nice.
So he said, he goes, I think I still got the tickets from there as we talked about collectibles.
Those are huge.
Yeah.
Those are huge tickets.
Really close friend. Anyway, so I said, you know what, bring the tickets in. I'll send them off to PSA for you. I'll get them slabbed, and you can put them, instead of keeping them in a box in the basement, you can get them slabbed, put them on the mantle. I said, it'd be kind of cool. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's probably cool. So I sent them in 3 months ago. They came back, and we got an upgrade charge. I sent them in at value. I couldn't find any. I didn't know. I said, they got to be worth a few bucks, but nothing crazy. Anyways, the last one that sold of these in just as authentic, these are ones, but really nice looking ones.
Right.
sold for $9,000 US.
Okay.
I called my buddy and I said, yeah, I got them back for you. I told him there was an upgrade charge on them. I said, I'm taking care of it. These are a gift from me to you, and I'm happy to do that. And he goes, well, what does that, like, what are they worth now? And so it doesn't matter. You're going to give them down to your kids. You just keep them. And he goes, no, but seriously, what are they worth? I said, I don't know. You're definitely going to get probably around 15K US for the pair of them if you wanted to sell them. And he goes instantly to his wife. He's like, sell them instantly. No interest whatsoever. So now these are going to go on the marketplace anyways. But there's none out there. You'd think there'd be more of them. But I think in the last 2 or 3 years, there's only been 2 sold. So anyways, super cool pieces from the Dream Team in 92.
There you go. Nicely done. Nicely done.
Yeah.
Dufex clarifies it was frozen concentrated orange juice. It's from Trading Places. Trading Places reference. Thank you, Dufex. That's a good one, actually. I'd forgotten about that. That's a good call.
Sell, Mortimer, sell.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. I missed you all's thoughts on the Mantle house. It's about an hour from me. Poor area of the state. The house is probably not worth 50K. If Mickey Mantle had autographed it, it's probably worth 51. He signed a lot of things. We could probably get an extra K for
a lot of things.
Yeah, both legit and illegit.
I want to show one more thing, Coach. I know I got to take off soon, but I sent in my set of 87 Storts.
Yep. All right, hold on.
So I think you graded a few of these, did you?
Well, I have I have the Macho Man. That's one I'm bringing with me. That's the one that I'm going to be bringing with me because I've got the bottom of it also. That's the Macho that I've shown off in the past.
Right.
And we actually showed off the one that somebody else got graded. It was funny. The Macho Man was graded by somebody else as well. And then, I'll probably bring mine in to get graded. We'll figure that out. That's why I say you and I are going to coordinate beforehand because it's like, look, no disrespect to everyone else, but it's like, I'm getting this in ahead of the peasants.
Yeah. It's so crazy too when you have, like, I had these in 87. So I would have been 11 years old. Anyways, my Hogan is a 6. Obviously, Hogan was my guy. But sure. I think I got 6 or 7 10s. Like,
oh, nice. Okay.
And I kept them that whole time. Yeah. But this was the kicker I wanted to show you.
Can't see.
Oh, you got the $1 Million Man. There's our guy.
In a PSA 10.
There's our boy. Now, what's funny, though, is they do grade it separately, right? They said they grade it that way. And then you could also have a grade with the bottom on it.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, it's 2 different things. Obviously, if somebody cut the bottom off, that'd be its own deal. That's basically what Brad had there with those ones. But then you've got the ones with this as well, which is kind of its own deal as well. So that'll be the one that I'm hoping to bring in myself. That should be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I had some extra. I sent in a few extra Macho Mans. I think I got a 7, 8, and 9 on 3.
Nice.
Yeah. And they're so awesome. Like
they're cool cards. Like, well, I guess I would almost hesitate not to call them cards, but they're cool, like, pieces to go from that era, especially. Like, works for me. Like, it's something. It's not a postcard, but it's sort of a card-ish, something like that. So that's some solid work, Brad. Hold on, it's worth it. Let's give him proper tribute. There's our boy. Good job. But yeah, we'll definitely
condition of those. It's really hard because they were inside the boxes of cakes, right?
Yeah,
100%. 100%. Facts. So, Brad, like I said, whenever you need to take off, that's perfectly fine. But you and I are going to coordinate, and we're going to touch on. We're one thing I will mention. I'll figure out the logistics of it. But one thing we'll definitely do is, I want to get. We'll probably try to get at least some stuff. I'll go to the booth and check it out, and we'll do a little walk around and everything if we can, and we'll try to figure that out because I think it'd be fun to people to see it before the madness and the chaos kicks in. Then we'll see if we can work something like that out because I think it'd be cool to see it that way before the real craziness kicks in.
Pre-show, yeah, nice.
Well, you would have to get up early.
All right, people for that, Eric.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't actually need to do it myself. I'll just get you or Mike Medano to do it, one or the other.
Okay, well, either one.
Yeah, either one. It works out the same either way. So it's all good. Macho Man always looked like he was going to slap Elizabeth. That was kind of the deal. Yeah, he was always right on the. He's like the madness. The Macho Madness is always right on the edge.
Story that is. I mean, that's just so sad.
There's a lot of sadness with that, with a lot of that going on. What's interesting is that Macho, towards the latter portion of his life, was actually in a pretty chill place. It actually seemed like he had kind of mellowed out, but he was enjoying himself. He was having a good time, and he had kind of started rolling back in. WWE was starting to do promos with him and stuff. And what's funny is, even though Macho was way older, like gray and everything, he could still do the promo in the voice. Like, he could still do it, and like he could literally flip the switch, kick it in, and boom, and just do it. And he could still deliver it like the way that he always could. And it's a shame that he passed away at the time he did, because it was right at the moment they were starting to use him for stuff again. So like, if he had been around, he had years of pitching different stuff, because they got so many legends. They got the action figures, they got video games, so many legends. Thing you get Macho Man to deliver a promo, he could sell anything you want.
Yeah.
How did he die again?
He had a heart attack in his car and then crashed the car.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was unfortunate timing. Number one, a heart attack he probably could have survived, but then crashing a car immediately after having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Now I think his wife was with him, so fortunately she's okay. But like, really bad timing to have a heart attack is like the worst possible timing.
And then, of course, Miss Elizabeth died of an overdose because she was doing drugs with Lex Luger and died of an overdose. So it was very sad.
Yeah, it was a really sad ending, unfortunately. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to find her piece sooner. Otherwise, it would have been nice, but unfortunately, it didn't. Yeah, and they both passed away, unfortunately, earlier than probably should have. But it's kind of the way it goes with that business. A lot of people die early.
Run though.
Yep, true. Good stuff. But thank you, Brad, as always, for sharing a lot of that. We appreciate it. And then we'll definitely get a chance to invite you back and talk some more stuff, because as we get closer to Expo, I think the excitement will slowly ramp up. The people are getting it's too soon. We want to work the excitement up slowly.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
No, absolutely. It's well, what is it? 3 weeks.
So basically, Brad, we got 2 more Friday streams after this, and then the one after that is Expo week. So I've actually got to work out the schedule to figure out what I'm going to do. I might do some kind of a live before, because I can never guarantee how hotel Wi-Fi and things are going to hold up. And if I'm going to have dinner with folks and everything, like, I don't want to start anything too late. So I'll think about it, but I'm definitely going to have videos. We're going to totally have videos from the Expo, one way or the other. But if I do a live, it might be earlier in the week, just to make sure that we get one in. I don't want to break the streak. The streak's been going already for a while now. It's like, but we might have to figure out the scheduling. I've got a little time to think about it, but I definitely got to figure it out.
Last year, didn't we do one super late? Like, I don't know, started at 10 o'clock at night or something? Or...
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure. Like, it's possible, but it's just, I want to be careful, because if I do go to dinner and we're actually having a good time and everything, I don't want to rush back, because I want to be able to enjoy it while I'm there. And that's one thing I'm always careful with. It just depends on where you're at and what you're doing. But that's going to be what we're
before midnight. It counts.
Obviously, right?
11:58. Countdown begins.
Can I ask one more question? Can I ask a question here before you go, Brad? I want the chat to chime in on this too, actually. So people have been enjoying my little look throughs, the old Beckett magazines. Those have been a lot of fun. Those early 90s Beckett magazines and such have been fun to go through them. I've got 3 more Beckett magazines on my person. I'm telling you right now, when I go to Expo, I'm going to go searching. I'm going to go do a search mission. I want to see if I can find some other ones for some of the times in between, to see if I can show a couple different things. And Paul mentioned tough stuff. It'd be kind of funny to me. I'd love to do a tough stuff episode. That'd be kind of fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I've got 3 with me for sure. One of them is a baseball Beckett from April 92, I want to say, with Frank Thomas on the cover. So it'd be chronologically not long after the last one, but a little bit past. Second one is one in 97 with Ken Griffey on the cover. It has a super collector in it by that point, which is cool. And I've also got this is July 99. So we've got the July 99 dual cover with Medano and Hasek. So this would be right around the Stanley Cup time. And I think I've got the Medano from 95 hockey. So I've got 2 baseballs. I got a baseball 92, a baseball 97, and a hockey 99, and possibly a hockey 95. So here's my question. Which one do you guys want to see next? I don't have to go chronologically, and I'm not bound to do it that way. And I'm probably going to find some other ones in between, but I'd be curious which one would you want to go to the end of the 90s, or do you want to go chronologically? The next one I've got is 92.
I think going chronology. Keep going in order. I think so.
All right. So Brad's got to vote for an order. Okay. Anybody else want to chime in? Just curious.
Yeah. I think it would be best to jump forward and see the dramatic changes and then jump back again.
Yeah. Bob Jackson likes the older. Fair enough. 92. Okay, so fair enough. I'm curious. I'd like to get the chat's opinion as well. One other thing I'll mention as well is whenever I do the hockey one, when I do that 99, I'll toss in. I'll also go through the Expo thing from 2019 just for fun. I got the program with me, so what the hell? I'll go through it.
You gonna read my article too?
Why not, Bobby? We can do it. But it will. But this is one of the last ones for the actual show programs before COVID and before everything else. So we'll go. So Jeff looks like he wants to go in order. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
So I think people are going to go in order. So that means we'll go a couple. I'm doing about one a week. So if that's the case, we'll go through those. And then if I find some at the Expo, we'll go backwards once I find a few, because I want to get some 93 and 94. I want to show a little bit of that time period when things are transitioning over. It'd be kind of fun, but I'll do that. And this one's kind of fun because we got this, and then we got all the giveaways from back then as well. This is only 4 years ago, but like there's some pretty good stuff back here. Plus we got a Bobby Burrell article. Like what more do you need?
I got some old magazines if you need them from the Expo. So
yeah, we can definitely chat. But that's kind of a bonus I'll throw in with the July 99 issue. I'll do a 2019 Expo one just for fun to add a little extra. Be fun.
It's really something when you look back at all that, though, and you go through and you see the ups, the downs, the hot. And I like how you mentioned about Canseco, too. Like, I didn't really think in 91, Canseco was getting
Josie?
Yeah, like he was getting in that much trouble. Like,
100%. Like they even acknowledged it.
Yeah.
By 91, he was already like the bad boy. He already had that reputation. He was already getting himself in, and that was like at the apex period of his thing. He had won the MVP in 88. He was still a star. Like obviously he was still notable as a star, but he was about to go jump from team to team to team, and it was going to get crazy in the next. That's why it's kind of fun in retrospect to look at some of these issues and go like, you already know what's going to happen. Like I'm not sharing the ending to the movie. So it's interesting to see where people are speculating. That's why I like that letter where somebody was complaining about the $3 packs. And I go, oh, my poor summer child. Series 1, AMG's pricing, I think AMG's got it for $145 Canadian. So 12 packs. So let's make it $144 just to make the math easy. That's $12 per pack in hobby. That is higher. That is twice as much as what inflation would have done compared to what things were sitting in that early 90s. Inflation doesn't account for the whole thing. The price has gone up. And that's not a bad price by today's standards, but it's 12 packs inside 12 cards per pack. So you're actually paying about $1 a card on average for all the base and everything else that's inside that box on average. And that's a decent box price.
They did it. Did you see the boxes too? I know most people seen them, but they've done like it's just a really nice looking box. And I actually love I like everything about it. I think I think they did a great job in Series 1. The 12 packs, there's 3 inserts in every pack. You get something. There's no more that's just, base pack, base pack, base pack. It's, I think they've done an incredible job with it. And you can see it. Like, I know AMG sold out. People are selling it. Connor, but there is the Connor Bedard card.
But you know what my favorite part is, Brad? My favorite part is in the front of the box, at the bottom of the box, that is full of lies. First ever 1 of 1 for the Young Guns. Lies.
Anyway, that's going to be opened at some point. I bought 2 boxes.
There you go. I do give them credit though, because I think the Outburst parallels are actually a nice change of pace. Actually something a little bit different to give somebody a chase. And they're 1 per box. So if you're collecting just your favorite player that isn't a crazy rookie or something, it's kind of cool to get something that's a little bit different, not just the usual stuff.
And what are they? There's the Outbursts are 1 of 1. Then you get the Silver Outburst is not numbered.
Is 1 per box, yeah.
But what's the numbering on them? So you got a 1 of 1.
Silver Outburst is not numbered.
Right. And then how does it go down? What's the next levels? Do you know?
So there's an Outburst Red that's out of 25. So that's the other Outburst.
Okay.
The Deluxe is not an Outburst. But that is numbered to 250. And then there is a Clear Cut, and there's a couple other parallels.
And then the 1 of 1 is there a 1 of 1 of every Outburst?
There should be. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Base and the Young Guns as well. So that should be 1 for everybody. So like I said, it's an interesting thing. Some of the inserts are not going to be for everybody. The Teacher's Pet, not a big fan. UD Portraits, I can't back that play. I tried to be very nice, but I can't back that play. It is an attempt. If I'm being nice, I'm calling it an attempt. I could use other words, but I'll call it an attempt.
I'll use all the words.
There you go. So let's see here. Is Brett in that set with the DiBiase Macho? I forget if Brett's in that set or not.
I don't.
Yeah, I want to say that's 87. It might not have been a big enough star yet to make it.
I don't think he is.
Yeah, not quite yet. If it had been a couple of years later, I think Brett would have gotten in, but I think not
Hey,
yet.
I found a display box on eBay. There's one there.
What's that?
It's just got the top and bottom of the original box that they came in.
Oh, cool. That's nice.
Yeah. He wants a little bit too much. Otherwise, I would have bought it.
Yeah. So, Eric, have you ever met Rico Petrelli? He stuffed him in the closet.
It's Petrocelli, and yes, I have.
I think he got the first NBA three-pointer. It's very exciting.
Rico did not play basketball. No, he played for the Boston Red Sox.
Do not discount his abilities. He could have done both. He was a two-sport athlete. Brad, do you know any Mike Denton or Daniel Alfredson collectors?
I don't know an Alfredson collector, but I talked to Danton today, actually. So
I think, and I think Mike Denton collects Eddie Murray. Think about it. I'm combining things for hockey just for his benefit. Mike Denton collects Eddie Murray and Joe Newendike.
Wow.
Sad story about Lenny Vern Gagne's body slamming a 97-year-old man at his home. 3 more on who in that person. Yep. Let me scroll through. So a bit of a mix. For the most part, it seems like people want to go chronological, which is fair. What set are those wrestling things from? So that was a food. No, sorry. It was a who was it?
Cakes.
Was it food? Yeah, Stuart. Was that one? Yeah.
It's like Vachon. If you
got it.
Vachon. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So
there you go. They're really thin, like they're paper almost, right? Like they just but they're just cool. I love them.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Nice. Carlos, why don't you collect all the Hall of Famers from 99 Stars team? Because I've got a limited budget and I don't care. Like, just because somebody's a Hall of Famer doesn't mean you have to collect them. The Hockey 90s theme is like, they're a Hall of Famer. Who gives a shit? There's a lot of Hall of Famers. So most of them we don't care about. Some of them we do.
I just picked this up. Joey Mullen, Hall of Famer.
You haven't figured out that one yet, but anyways.
So
no, he got the first NBA three-pointer, Bobby.
One of the greatest American-born players of all time. When he retired, he had all the records for American-born players, and this is a jersey auto slabbed in the game, and it is 3 out of 19, and I picked that up this week.
The 19 is actually based on the number of three-pointers he got in the NBA, including the first.
And the 3 is third tier.
Mm-hmm. Eric loves the outburst, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see the show calendar. Tries to zoom in to see, couldn't see my state. Fair. I did get some questions about that, so that's fair. I get it. I bet he collects Harold Baines as well. Yes, no doubt. If I wanted to find some on eBay, what would they search? Here you go. 87 Stewart WWF. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
It's there.
Good evening, gentlemen, and Eric. Thank you, Josh. Good evening. Paul C. Good evening. Beautiful. But yeah, no, it's good stuff. We'll definitely chat more, Brad, as we get closer to it as well. I'll keep in touch with you, and we'll figure something out. And I'm looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. I'm hearing already from some folks that they're going to be making it down. The fall one tends to be the one that it's easier for a lot of folks. If they're going to plan one and they're going to do one, the fall tends to be the one that draws those folks to come in. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah. 50,000 people, Bobby. Do we have a wager on this?
Oh. Not this time around.
Not this time. There you go. See? He played basketball. Psh, first NBA three-pointer. Why you question the man?
He didn't play in the NBA.
Says you, Eric.
I played basketball too. So what?
Listen, Eric, when it comes to your knowledge of the NBA, I put it on par with your knowledge of the NHL. And do I have to play the YouTube short where you predicted the NHL playoffs last year and went over? So I don't want to hear one word.
We don't need
not the Brad. He knows not the sports. If I need to know about Kiss, then I'll ask you. Other than that, nope.
Just Peter Criss of the Kiss. That's all.
maybe if that. Why do we sellers have to include their listing if a player is in the Hall of Fame? Because they're crazy. I'd assume most people looking at the cards would know this already. People know nothing. The honky tonk man is in it, no doubt. Oh, yeah. Yes, I think at the time it would have been right around the time he won the Intercontinental Championship, and he was the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion until that was recently broken. That record was recently broken by Gunther.
Who?
I loved hating him. Like he just drove me nuts. Everything about him just drove me nuts. He was my ultimate bad guy.
Yeah. And then gets defeated by the Ultimate Warrior in a couple of seconds and be like, all right, I'll do it. Fine, I guess, whatever. End his illustrious long reign with the Ultimate Warrior beating him in like 10 seconds or whatever it was, something ridiculous. I was like, yeah, that was a match, guys. We're going to call that a match. Sure, we'll go with it. So to answer your question, Eric, Gunther is a very large Austrian man. I think I mentioned it before because I said his original name was Gunther Stark, which was a terrible. It was WWE again, not understanding the Google, because Gunther Stark was an SS guy from the Nazis.
Oh, wonderful!
And WWE are stupid. They don't Google anything. And I was sitting there like, what is wrong with you? Why would you not look up? That's the name of an actual Nazi. So of course they had to drop the last name and just go with Gunther. Idiots. Google this shit. They do it for trademarks and they can't Google to find this out. Brad, my favorite. They originally had with the women that when they decided to do the women's revolution, did this whole thing. They had Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Paige, who was still there at the time. And they had this group that they were doing, and they decided to do groups with the women at the time. So they initially called them, because their finishers were all submission holds, they called them submission sorority, which if you Google, you will find out is in a movie that you need to be at least 18 to watch. Again, WWE does not understand how to do the Google.
They should learn how to Google.
Neither does the federal government, but we'll get away from that one.
It's like, just Google this shit.
Nazi.
One time, Google this shit.
Started on that.
The problem is the person who vetted Bobby originally worked for WWE.
Really?
Yeah, the problem is the person who vetted it originally worked for WWE. Like, it explains everything. Nobody Googles anything.
Yep.
I want to see Gunther give Eric a chop. That'd be funny.
Listen, I know I'm not super into wrestling anymore, but you're saying this is the longest running Intercontinental Champion. I've never heard of him.
You haven't heard of it. Literally anyone who has been in the company in the last 20 years.
All right, that might be true, but they're obviously not promoting him like they used to promote Honky Tonk Man.
Because they promote him better than they promoted the Honky Tonk Man. I promise you don't watch the show.
If he fell on me, I'd say, "Ow," because you're a large Austrian man. But
yes, a very large Austrian man. And then he would curse at you in Austria, which would be hilarious.
Magnus for Magnuson falling on you.
Listen, Magnus for Magnuson would be gold, Bobby. Magnus for Magnuson was great. I love the old World's Strongest Man. They were a good time.
Those were the best ones. I loved it.
That's what I'm saying. I love it. Magnus for Magnuson, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah.
I lift things up and put them down.
You should see the things they lift. You can't even
I know it's just insane.
Yeah. Yep. That makes me think of a story what Jim Ross had to tell Vince about. Yeah, that's right. But it's just funny to me. Like, guys, you could just Google something. You go use Google one time in your life. Brad, you could literally hire an intern whose only job it is, all right, this is our proposed name. Can you find out that there isn't some horrible association that is going to come back and bite us in the ass?
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to do. Just look it up. The last guy I ever remembers is Luthez. Yeah, Eric was already an old man when Luthez was getting going. Long time ago.
I don't know who that is either, to be honest.
You're old enough to know.
You really are. You really are. 100%. So, Brad, let me ask you this question before, like I said, whenever you want to wind down, you're good. But I want to make sure I ask you this question. Obviously, with the new setup and everything, and we'll talk more as we get closer. What are you specifically looking forward to? Obviously, you're going to have the big setup and everything. That's going to be cool. Are you going to be like transplanted, locked into position there? Are you going to try to wander the halls a little bit? What's your plan initially, high level?
Oh yeah, definitely. So myself and my team is going to be handling all the take-home submissions like we previously did. The on-site will be with the customer service team that's coming up from California. So they'll be handling that side of the booth. But I'll pretty much be everywhere. And that's from the submission center side of things in the job. And then also on the market development side of things, we have probably 15, 20 meetings lined up with a lot of potential dealers just to make introductions. So I get to meet people, see who they are. I'm still old school on that. It's hard for me. If I don't know the person, I want to be able to meet them before I can put a recommendation forward. I can't just do that over a Zoom. I really want to, see their setup and get to talk to them and go from there. So, yeah, but that's it. But myself, Lloyd, Sherry, and Rod will be manning the take-home submissions booth. So that will be as busy as ever. That I know for sure. And we'll see how it rolls. But I have set goals that I want and targets that I want to achieve, and I know if we achieve those, then PSA will be back, and that's my number one thing, is to make sure PSA comes back in 2024 to do this exact same thing, and people are happy with it, and people like it, and things are successful, and for everyone, for the customers and for the company. So. But it's a little stress. I am a little stressed over it. So stress, probably not. A little anxious, I guess you can say.
That's natural.
Yeah.
I will be asking you and Sherry several times a day, is there anything I can do to help? Please have something for me to do instead of just saying, no, everything's great.
You could grade all your Reggie Lemon.
Tens.
He'll be asking, you got any crumble cookies left in the back?
Amazing.
Hey, if he wants me to bring cookies, I will bring cookies, whatever the man wants.
Brad, we might have to go live from the PSA booth and get crumble cookies delivered.
Yes.
All of a sudden, impromptu live. It's like we're just getting delivered. Hey,
fireside subs. Can't go wrong.
Listen, man. Look, there are options.
You have to bring me up 2 chocolate sticks, please.
Okay.
By 2 chocolate sips, you mean the crumbs that are left over after Eric is like, I brought them for you.
I don't know. That's a long drive, man.
But I got really hungry.
Can't last like 10 hours.
The problem is,
it's like
Bobby, they're gonna start talking to me.
Chocolate sticks in the car with me. Those aren't gonna survive.
Bobby, you got to remember when it comes to Eric and the chocolate sticks,
roll them in paper towel.
They're literally going to start talking to him. I want to say a couple hours in. I really mean like minute 5. Be like, Eric, and they're like, stop talking to me. I hear you.
Yeah,
I'm trying to focus. I'm trying to drive.
Those things are gone in a heartbeat, man.
I'll just pack some extra ones. So eat 5 before you leave, and then the 2 will survive.
I'll buy 50, and maybe by the time I get there, 2, I may have 2 left.
See, maybe the secret, and Brad, this is maybe the secret, is maybe what happens is maybe we need to get to Eric's wife and get her to buy the chocolate strips and like lather the outside of the box in mayonnaise so that Eric is repulsed like a vampire in garlic so that it stays intact without being touched until it arrives.
Enough. Gross.
I'll eat the
so if y'all see Eric at the expo and you want him to autograph a jar of mayonnaise for you,
that'd be good.
He might be into that kind of thing.
People are disgusting.
Or you could
remember to hit the like button for Eric's mayo version.
So gross.
No fluff allowed.
We love it.
I'll bring fluff. You want me to bring some fluff?
No, we got lots here. Don't you worry, brother.
You good, Brad? Because I want to make sure that you get a chance to take off if you need to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was just checking the score in New Jersey to see Jack Hughes got another 3 points tonight. So,
excellent.
Yeah, he's just been tearing it up. It's so these young guys, and I know we didn't talk about it tonight, but I just think the NHL with these young guys right now, I'm so excited for this season. So many different things are going to happen. I can give a prediction. Jack Hughes finishes second in scoring to Connor McDavid, and he has 135 points.
Wow.
You're going there, huh? Interesting.
Putting it right out there. 135 points, second to McDavid.
And 100,000 people at the expo. Okay, I got you.
30.
I don't think you're gonna run into. Well, we'll have to see. Like, who knows? Look, I'll say this: we'll get, like I said, we'll get a chance in the next couple of weeks to talk about it a little bit more as we get closer. I think right now we've got a lot of interesting factors playing off of each other. It is the Fall Expo that tends to be the better one. Series 1 is being very well received, so that's good, and obviously that's getting a lot of traffic and things going on. A lot of people like going to the expo anyway. They make, like I said, I've literally had people reach out to me saying I'm gonna head down. It's like an appointment for them. They'll literally travel to go and visit because it's our big show. But then at the same time, things have cooled down in a lot of things. Like eBay sales are down in a lot of places. The pricing on a lot of stuff, not on everything, because if somebody really wants something badly enough, they're still buying it. But a lot of regular stuff just kind of sits because there's really no hurry, So you got to factor all that in. That's part of the equation that we're all trying to figure out. And how's that going to affect foot traffic at the expo when at the same time we got all this other stuff that's like first time we're doing this or we're doing this other stuff. Menzie has got a gigantic list of signers. So there might be some folks that will come in just to get an autograph. And maybe that's why they come, just to get an autograph. That's all they're there for. They get their signature. They go out. They go home.
Well, it's not the old sports expo. It's more of an event. And I think that's the crossover. that people want to go just to be involved in it. They don't have to buy anything. They just want to kind of be there.
And that's going to be a person through the turnstile, because technically speaking, that's going to count because they're still buying their ticket to get in.
It is. Yeah.
It doesn't change the fact that they paid to get in, but that doesn't mean they have to buy a single card. That has nothing to do with what's going to happen with the dealers
and numbers. So yes.
Yeah. No, it's true, but that's what it is. It's an event. It's to get together with your friends and fellow hobbyists and collectors and
whatever you do.
And whatever you do, it could be there. Like some people just go because they want to sit in a hotel and drink beers and with the guys, and they don't
eat
really
chocolate
care.
sticks, and
yeah.
Facts.
And Mom, you don't understand. I'm not excited about seeing any of these fools. I'm going for the cards. That's it. I don't even. If I can avoid all of them, I am going to do my very best. Bobby's been lying to me for like 6 years now, so I am not going anywhere near him.
No, I'm actually close to the beer garden, so you know your friend Carlos there a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you, Bobby. I got you. I'm there for support.
I know.
Support
I know.
You.
It's just convenient and it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, and if somebody steals Eric's wallet, it definitely wasn't me to pay for said beer.
I already said I'm going to attack Brad as soon as I can find a ladder to borrow. And Carlos, I only have to dodge him for half a day because he can't get out of bed before 11.
No, I can. I just refuse to deal with you peasants before 11.
So you won't find me at the app anywhere, so it doesn't matter.
So I'm not excited to see any of you fools.
What I might do, Brad, maybe I'll do something. Maybe I'll do something as based on the theme of that show, that CSC show we did, where, like I said, I was there for breakfast when I said I would be. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just do a day at the show where I'll just take selfies of myself every hour on the hour during the morning hours, anywhere but the expo, and then still not stroll in until 2 p.m. I'll be like, I was awake the whole time, but it's like, no. I'll still come in at 2 p.m. because fuck
you'll
y'all.
Post a Vine about all these little snapshots and you'll be good.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
That's awesome.
We only roast the ones we like, and Eric. It was fun interacting with Eric, and he has no idea it was me.
That's creepy, Bob.
I like it, Bob. Josh here says, would Eric be into Sorority Sisters Mayo Wrestling? Pfft, it's like everything he likes in life.
Shut up, Josh.
I just read Paul's comment.
Florida complex name after prize bidding. Yeah, look, like Brad, if you've noticed, I have toned down my Alex Manoah thing because it's like it is not the time.
I know baseball. I'm playing baseball. I go with my heart, 100% for my team. I am much better in hockey.
And what about the Expo predictions? So is that your heart or is it what?
It's a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit
Fair
of both.
enough.
And I like talking about my losses. I don't talk about my wins. So.
Oh yeah, I gotta put a reservation in at Chops because I think that place has gotten busy. It used to be empty, and now
I think now would be a good time to set that up because it feels like
who's coming. I know Dave. Dave's got a great story for us, so don't worry about that.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. Which night are you thinking? We can talk more after if you want.
It's always the Saturday because we're out of there at 6. So because otherwise it goes to 9 o'clock and then it goes to 9 o'clock and So and then Sunday.
All right, we'll have to figure out which night. Like I said, we'll figure out which night we go. We have some dinner and take pictures and just send them to Eric.
Oh
yeah,
exactly. That's right. Yeah,
I'm out Saturday. I got a group to take to downtown Toronto.
We understand.
Yeah,
downtown. Where are you going?
To the Leafs game.
Bastard.
Yeah.
You cannot play both sides of this, Eric. You cannot denounce Brad and then be like, "Oh, take me to the Leafs game."
Oh, I thought it was going to be a regular thing. I arrive in Canada. I'm giving Leaf tickets. What the hell?
All right, Eric. Eric, make your pitch. Why should he take you to the Leafs game?
Yeah, he already went last time.
See, Eric has gotten so good. Eric is finally learning slowly. He's learning. He's like, make your pitch. Go ahead. Too. I dare you. Make your pitch.
They're playing Boston.
Taking noted Leaf fan Eric to the game. I know. I only know him as a Leafs fan. I've never heard him support any other team.
I crossed the border. I'm giving Leaf tickets. That's the experience that I'm used to. I thought that was going to happen again. I don't know.
I had leaf tickets. I
Hey,
had to turn them down, and they were free.
if you play your cards right, you just never know, Eric. You just never
Ooh,
know.
Brad,
Right?
giving them the
What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Brad, make it contingent on him being able to get the app loaded onto his phone after Bobby denies him. All you got to do is get the app loaded, and here's the ticket connected with it. All you got to do is get the app on your phone.
Awesome. All right, boys. Have a good night. I'm taking off. I hit
All right, buddy.
the wall. The eyes are burning. My Red Bull's
Yeah.
wearing off. So
Sounds good. We'll talk later, Brad. We'll figure out all the rest of it out. But take it easy. Have a good
awesome.
night.
Have a great night, guys. See ya.
See, Brad.
I like that idea of tying it to the app.
Oh yeah.
I'll figure the app out, and then you can have your leaf ticket. No problem.
Yeah, why don't you have me go like hunt down a unicorn or something? You know,
Maybe I'll also have you hunt down a unicorn.
I'd have better luck hunting down the unicorn than getting this guy's app.
I like
Well,
it.
I priced the unicorn in VGEX, so
Ooh,
1020. So you're good.
Okay.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, so here, Eric is coming to Canada for the chocolate sticks. We don't have any of those.
We don't have them
There
anymore.
aren't any.
Yeah, it's intentional. We're trying to keep you away, and yet here you are.
There used to be a long time ago at Country Style, but Country Style no longer is in
Well, didn't
business.
Dunks come up there for a bit, and then you guys kicked him out?
That was like Krispy Kreme.
No, they were there.
Although I think there's still a Krispy Kreme. There is a Krispy Kreme.
there is a few locations.
Yeah. Okay. Fair
Not
enough.
many.
But yeah. Yeah.
But they didn't have chocolate sticks. They had some amazing powdered donuts like that were filled with raspberry and blueberry. But we have Coffee Time that has nothing, and Tim Hortons really doesn't have. They're not the donut people anymore that they once were. So
No.
it's more about coffee and sandwiches and breakfast sandwiches and stuff like that, which you do like. So
The only
Yeah.
thing
The
I-
breakfast sandwiches are
Harvest.
good. I like
You
those.
like
I
that?
blueberry,
Yeah, that's fine.
blueberry muffin. That's about the only thing I bought there when I went to Tim's.
The only thing I really like is French cruller, or that's not called French. It's called a honey cruller now. So not much else really. I think the donuts have really tanked here, and actually Duncan had some great donuts when they were here. Because I used to go every morning before I went to work in 92, 93. Yeah.
Fair enough.
But they're no longer, I don't even think they're here at all, are they?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't remember a single one for a long time.
Yeah. for
If
10
they
years,
that
20
it was like
years. Wow,
there's
15
been a
years.
lot like there was an article that I read years ago now about when Target did its launch. And a lot of the it's not that it's not possible, but the American brand has to understand it's a different market. You don't get to carry over any cachet you have from the US. Just forget it. It ends at the border. So number one, you need to figure out supply lines for whatever you're going to do. Figure that out. That's important. And if you're relying on the US to supply you, then you're adding a cost, customs, all this stuff. You have to have your own setup. That's why when Target did its whole thing, is like all they did was buy Zeller stores, which were in
Basically.
crappy locations, and they had to completely redo them. And it's like, you're doomed, bro.
And they
Zellers
didn't
was
even
on
do
its
them
way out
well.
when you bought them. Zellers was half done.
They didn't even do them well. I went in
No.
one and I just went, what?
Well,
Wow.
the other problem is that and the article literally compared it to when Walmart rolled in, and they showed like Walmart understood you're
Big
not going to be able to
difference.
get this done overnight. So what they did is they built a couple of stores,
Yeah.
but then they figured out the logistics, and they said we're going to make sure we have a way of getting stuff to the stores first before then we try to do this big old launch.
And then they signed a deal with McDonald's to have them in the stores. It was over after that. Man.
It was methodical. It was this.
Sure.
It was you set this up, make sure this
Good
is ready. You set
business
this other
plan,
thing
yeah.
up, make sure this is ready. And when they finally went national and went wide, all the stores were stocked. They did not have an issue getting stuff into the stores.
I don't know.
Target literally couldn't fill shelves sometimes, and that was one of the many problems. And the prices were high relative to, and they had no market relative to the rest of it. It's like, why? Who cares?
Zellers was living off of old technology and they weren't moving forward. And Walmart came in and just wiped them out. They
By
wiped
the
everybody
time
out.
that Target bought those old Zellers was already dead. They were dead
they were
walking.
long dead.
Like they were long dead. That time was
They
over.
were just a new color of Zellers, and that's it. And then they faltered too.
Yeah, they bought a bad brand and then tried to take it over and be like, why didn't this work? Because
Like Target works in the US, but it doesn't work in Canada because you already have Walmart here. What else are you going to buy, right?
the key with Target in the US was that it was more upscale Walmart. That was the key to them. They had to be more upscale. If they tried to compete with Walmart on price and everything, they were done. because they couldn't
Yeah, and
compete. Really.
Sellers was pretty good, actually. You know, there were some good discounts. There was good deals. You had like
At
a
one
nice
time.
little cafeteria there. It was beautiful. You know,
At one
you
time,
go
yeah.
in, get a nice burger and fries, and it was good. But
They got surpassed by all the other ones though. By that point, like they were long. Those heydays were over. I remember getting my Nintendo Entertainment System. My parents bought it at Zellers.
Yeah.
Because at the time they had everything. But that was the early 90s. So like that time had long since passed. It was over.
by the end of the 90s, they were finished. Yeah.
Yeah. So Aga says, Carlos, what are your thoughts on the meek Tony Khan? I think he needs to get off Twitter or X or whatever they call it now.
Very bad.
No worries.
Do you guys have any of those Zellers autographed cards that came out years ago? They had every hockey legend imaginable in that set. They were so good. And I don't have one of them. They had
the swirls. Yes.
I mean, they had Gordie Howe, Jerry Cheevers. I think they had the Richards. I mean, the list went on and on and on of who they had. You know, hard signing the cards. They were great. They're all in like white uniforms.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm, you know something. If I come up there, you know, and just don't decide to, yeah, they had Bobby Hull.
Thank you, Soup.
If I come up there and don't decide not, you know, to skip it because, you know, I dislike you guys so much, I may try to find some of those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing they're pretty common. You know, I know it's been 30 years, but, you know, I bet you they're easy to find at the Expo.
For dealers who have stuff from years ago, sure. Obviously, the dealers who just carry new stuff, you're not going to find too much there. But there's going to be certain ones that are going to have like a stock of them.
Yeah.
That usually is the way it works out.
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but it's like a lot. I'll be honest, a lot of those food and store-based issues eventually blur in my head. I'll be like, yeah, I remember they came out with a bunch of promos for a lot of stuff. Joshua says the 72 set. Yep. So yeah, there's a lot of them that kind of blur together after a while.
Here's the first one that just popped up. All right. So
show me the picture.
Here's Daryl Sittler.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
All right. I mean, every single one is just a great Hall of Famer.
Yeah. For this stuff like that, you have to show me the picture. You can't just say like Zellers, whatever. It's like, dude, I remember a lot of Zeller shit. you got to show me the picture. Show me the picture and I can figure that out.
His oh God, stupid. Come on. There's Mike Bossy.
Yep.
I mean, these things are awesome.
Yep. Stuke here saying the yearly craft and Jello sets. Now, those ones I remember because they did those for years. Now, they kept that going into the late 90s because, well, maybe even later than that, but late 90s is kind of where my memory on that kind of cuts off because I remember for craft, they had the card and Pinnacle was actually doing it, I want to say in 98. Yeah, you got Gordy. Yep. So in Pinnacle, I think was doing them in 98, right at the tail end of Pinnacle. They did the cards in the back of the craft dinner boxes, and they had all the contemporary players, all the good players at the time. I had my Medano, and you can get the box, you can get one cut out. Like you've got options in how you want that, collect that. But those are fun. Those were a lot of fun, and you had them in the peanut butter as well, and the Jello sets as Stuke mentions. So that was like a good era for food issues. You wanted to get your food, you wanted to get some hockey cards where you could go into cereal, you could go into Jello, you could go into craft and get hockey cards that way. We talked about it before.
So cheap on eBay. Like
probably, yeah.
Like $10 a piece. And these are Hall of Fame guys' autographs. And they're like,
well, it goes back to what I said to hockey. No one gives a shit about Hall of Famers. Hall of Fame doesn't mean shit. Doesn't matter.
No, but these are like true legends.
I understand. But I understand. What I'm saying is Hall of Fame is a designation now. If you collect Gordie Howe, you collect Gordie Howe. The fact he's a Hall of Famer is a given. But some of these guys are so available in such a bunch. Maybe to put it another way, because Hockey was talking about Joe Nieuwendyk. He was talking about all these players, right? Okay.
Yeah.
If Bobby Hull, so let me ask you, Eric, simple question. Who is a bigger tier star? Joe Nieuwendyk or Bobby Hull?
Bobby Hull.
Yeah. I can get a Bobby Hull autograph super cheap.
I'm looking at a couple of them on my desk.
It's not a big deal.
One up there on my wall.
Yeah. And a lot of the Bobby Hull cards are not that crazy priced either.
Right.
His rookie is a big deal because obviously it's a big card in a big set from the 50s. But that's the combination of that is why the Bobby Hall rookie is so valuable. But go get like a 50-year Bobby Hall. Like you can get one pretty respectable price. Like it's nothing crazy considering he was a top tier star in his day. Not like he wasn't like a borderline guy. Bobby Hall was one of the best players in the world and what he did for a while there and a big star, like a legit star. But it doesn't matter. Who cares? Now, if you collect them, great. Well, the good news is you can probably get most of the cards outside of like the rookie and certain really tough issues relatively cheap. And you can build a really nice collection of Bobby Hall cards and you'll be very happy with it, I think. You can have a good time. But then imagine if a guy like Bobby Hall falls under that category, well, then what about everybody who falls below him?
Yeah.
You can build an amazing collection of Hall of Famers and legends of the game and everything. But yeah, there's a lot of those now. And every year that goes by, there's new potential legends. So it's not like the list is getting shorter. It's getting longer. And the people will care. Mostly the kids today are not worried about Bobby Hall and some of these guys. There's still plenty of potential folks to buy that stuff, but they want to see what Connor McDavid's doing. And potentially Connor Bedard and these other guys.
Oh, they have a Marcel Dion.
Live the dream, Eric. You know what you need to do.
Johnny Busick, Bobby Hull, Andy Bathgate, Brad Park, Worsley, Yvonne Corneille. Yeah, I mean, it just goes on and on. They're just fantastic.
Works out.
I got to try to get someone I'm up there.
Good evening, Brandon. How you doing?
Oh, hey, buddy.
Brandon's actually been doing, I believe it's him. He's been doing a different Dallas Stars card for the games this season. I've been enjoying that little mini series. He did the Flair card, which is a nice one. I like the Flair. I think that's a cool card.
Yeah, he put on an Andy Moog card, and
that's the Flair.
And I sent him, I sent him a note saying he's still wearing his Bruins mask on the card. Now afterwards he had basically the same mask, but they put it in like he had it repainted like green, but in that card it's still yellow. So he kept the bear in Dallas, but he painted it green. Okay. And I think I told the story that he told me was he belongs to a golf club in Dallas. That's where he lives now, is in Dallas. And he goes into the 19th hole after playing around, and he's sitting in there. And, it's kind of a guy's, sports club kind of a thing. And there's all this sports memorabilia around. And he sits there, and every day after golf, he looks, and there is a replica of one of his masks sitting there on the shelf. Yeah. And nobody knows he's who he is. No one recognizes him. No one bothers him. And he's just waiting for the day to someone figure it out and say, will you sign this? Or, but he just goes in after a round, has a couple of beers, heads home. Nobody knows who he is or bothers him. Where if he belonged to a golf club here in Boston, he wouldn't get off the first tee without people, running over to him.
Well, I think though part of that is, and it won't say for everybody, but I think for a lot of hockey players, like I remember, so I mentioned the story. I remember years ago when I was working downtown in Toronto, the Leafs were having their home opener. And that's a big deal because obviously they set up nice things over in a couple different parts of Toronto so people can watch the game, hang out a little bit, do that stuff. While I was walking by one of the main areas, I forget exactly what the street name is. Bobby can probably remind me, but there's a spot there in Toronto that is almost like a mini replica Times Square kind of deal because you got the shops in the corners, you got a big screen there, you got some stuff, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of activity happens there. And it's right beside like the Eden Center and a lot of stuff. So it's right in this spot where you can hang out and whatever. I'm going up actually to go have dinner and a pint with somebody, with a friend of mine. And as I go up the escalator, you got George Larocque and a couple other hockey players coming down the other side. Literally no one says shit to the guy. George LaRock kind of stands out in he stands out in a lot of places.
Big dude.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not like you can't figure out his, like you literally look at him, you can tell it's George LaRock. You can, he sticks out like a sore thumb in most places. Like he's a big guy.
Right.
He literally sells big George LaRock stuff for a reason.
Yeah.
But like people leave him alone. He's a hockey player in Toronto. There's a lot of those, especially like during Leafs home opener. It's like it's an epicenter of a lot of hockey. A lot of the hockey world will center on that because it's still a big deal. And Toronto, despite its lack of success as a team, is still a big hockey market. People like hanging out. They enjoy checking out the games, complaining about them. Like they'll still do it. Despite their better judgment, they'll still do it.
They are still number one. They are the number one hockey market. I think they're the franchise that's worth the most. You can't get it. It's almost impossible to get tickets. It's they live and breathe it there, man. And I'm kind of envious. As much as we love our hockey here in Boston and being an original six team, and the Garden is filled every single game. The Pats over the last decade or 20 years have definitely been number one. I don't think the Maple Leafs have ever lost that fan base.
No,
we're fickle here because we got all four sports and the people jump around depending on who's hot. Fair weather fans. But
the Gardens and ACC have been sold out since 1950 something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I don't see it ever. Even if they lose every single game this season, they'll lose every single game to a sellout crowd.
They've done that for the last 30 years. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing when I was at one of my stops at a couple different banks I worked at, they had a silent raffle for charity. So they were doing a silent raffle, different stuff you could bid on, whatever. One of them was Leafs against the Red Wings, and the market value, quote unquote, was $300. It was a preseason ticket because it was the Red Wings. So they're like, well, it's the Red Wings. Now today, the Red Wings aren't very good right now. But at that moment, they still had plenty of star power. So it didn't matter. It was a Leafs game against a team with some star power, preseason, and the tickets were $300 value. And they went for hundreds of dollars for the charity thing. It's like, this is a charity raffle, and it's hundreds of dollars for a preseason ticket to see the freaking Red Wings.
Yeah,
Jesus. So that's how bad it is. Good for the charity. Like obviously it has value. So hey, they got some money for it. Cool. But I was like, yeah, no, if you can sell a preseason ticket for hundreds of dollars and it's worthwhile to somebody,
yeah,
it would have sold anyway. If they had scalped the ticket, it would have gotten hundreds of dollars anyway. So may as well get it for charity. So fair enough,
Yep.
I don't know what to say.
You were talking about Zellers as I was leaving there. Yeah, those cards are everywhere. The signatures now, that set goes for like $10K. It's the swirls. It's called swirled signature.
Give a little background on that. I'll come right back. But while you're explaining that, I'll be right back.
I'm bidding on the Bossy right now for like $10, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll own it.
The autographed.
Yeah.
Yeah, those actually go for a lot of money. The Dryden goes for a lot, and there's a couple.
That's because he never signs anything.
Oh, that's a big thing too.
You get an official, like an official card he signed, and that's got to be huge.
Yeah, but the Zellers came out with a great program that year. They had displays. They had really nice, very well done things, and they got all of them to sign them. And those swirls go for really good money. If they're graded in PSA, it's watch out. You're paying huge bucks.
So this is
the regular cards are easy to find. Yeah, like that. Yeah. Yeah,
there's a
really
lot
nice.
of on eBay
Well
right now.
They got all the stars. It was really good. Well done. Very nice set. For the time period, it was a step above any set that was really out there issued by a sort of a company issue. Opposed to a regular card issue. It was actually one of the nicest ones, and people were at Zellers all the time. So, like Carlos was saying, it was kind of the place to be when you were growing up. Zellers, they had a cafeteria. You could go in and shop for anything, and it was a discount kind of place, but even still, it held a, it was clean. It was nice. It was a nice place, sort of similar to a Target today, I guess, in a sense, quality, nice place, but then they dropped fast. as time went on, and competition hurt them. So then they were carrying garbage, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
just fell by the wayside, unfortunately. But those are very popular cards. The signed cards are more popular than the obviously the regular ones, because the regular
Right.
set you should be able to pick up pretty cheap, but the autographs, some of them are gonna kick your butt.
I think one thing that was huge about the whole Zellers thing is that they never modernized from the 80s. The
No.
Zellers that I remembered from that 80s, early 90s period was still the same Zeller store that I walked into in like 1999. And I was like, that's not going to fly. You know, you got to adapt with the times a little bit. You know, you can be Club Z and all that, but you got to adjust a little as time goes on.
Well, they actually, what was it, a year or two ago? They reinitiated the brand Zellers, and they brought them into the Bay.
Yeah.
So there was a section above the Bay that was Zellers. So I went to see it. I said, okay, I got to check it out. And it was really just a small section, and they had like tchotchke gifts. It was sort of like, really? This is Zellers? This is not Zellers. I thought they were going to take a whole floor or something and, go back to the old ways.
I just don't think the nostalgia has the pull because, like I said, they had eroded that brand so long. Like, why?
Well, it could come back if they were independent, but they can't go in like a Bay, the Bay. And the Bay's been around. Like the Bay Company has been around since 60.
Yeah, they got a long-standing history. They go back a long ways.
They were trading beaver pelts back then. Anyway. No, not
Eric, though, the thing is that was the Bay Company. No, but it goes back further than Bobby's talking about. The Hudson Bay Company goes back to pre-Confederation. They go before 1860s is when Canada became a country, but it's like the Hudson's Bay Company was a historical thing that goes back way back.
Yeah.
So it has a real lineage that still exists to this day, which is impressive.
It is. Yeah. Actually, it's one of the longest standing. It is the longest standing company. And they still deal, but they deal in a nice medium to high level stuff, which is good.
Yeah. They found their niche.
Used to be like them too, but they kind of fell by the wayside, sort of too. But anyways, yeah, they did do some great things in the 90s there, hockey wise, 80s, 90s. So, not much.
There you go. I found it. So the Hudson's Bay Company was founded in May 2nd, 1670.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
So there you go, Eric. The Hudson's Bay Company still technically is still the original lineage, 1670. It's very difficult. I will say one of the longest. Like I said, I've been in Canada long enough in my life to enjoy my life.
Years.
But it's so much fun for me. Like I have earned the right as someone who's lived here the majority of my life. I can make fun of it because I'm here. But it's like, but you have to give props to them that there are certain traditions and histories that they've managed to keep intact, which is really hard. It is really hard to be able to do that without destroying it. And they've managed to at least keep a sliver of some of those. That one predates the country existing. It predates all of that. And then look at other stuff. I joke about in the Discord with Dakota and a lot of those guys about the Canadian Football League, and the Canadian Football League is worthy of mockery. Let's be fair. Let's be clear about this.
When you have multiple teams that with the same name playing against each other,
yes,
that's current times.
That's the complete joke.
Back in the turn of the century, or prior to even 1900, you got the ORFU, which is actually they're called rugby, but it is actually football at that time. So the lineage goes back actually even further than the NFL or football.
Oh no, for sure, exactly.
And we invented basketball, and hockey's the gig here in Canada. So what do you guys got? Basketball, and it's going tanking in the card market. So see you later.
You invented basketball, but yet our Hall of Fame is in Springfield, Massachusetts.
Because Eric, you personally name every single person who got the first NBA 3-pointer, so we need it close to you for your personal expertise, so that you can name them all.
Chris Ford.
Who's this guy? Is he like a Zamboni driver? Wait, explain to me. Who's this guy?
Chris Ford.
What? Sorry, I missed it. Damn. I lost connection with it. This is terrible. Sorry, do you want to say that again? What's that? I lost it. Damn. This is terrible. All right, finish the point that I'm making. Yeah, Chris Ford played for the Argonauts. So speaking of the Argonauts, since Eric brings it up, I was going to say the thing is, despite like all the other teams, the name change and everything, the Argonauts are still the original team, the lineage of the original team. This year, they turn 150.
Yeah.
So they're a professional football team that has existed for 150 years, which predates the NFL. It way predates the CFL. It predates all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And it's like, and it's still the same brand and IP,
It is.
which is hilarious. If you got to give them some props for that. Like the fact they've survived this long and
They last
in
longer
that
than
many
Jason and
generations.
the Argonauts. What they're named after, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Dang, you know? And actually, October 1873. So actually, this month, 150 years.
Oh,
I've actually been to-
Sesquicentennial. Oh, nice. I like it.
I've actually been to an Argos game, so that makes me something special, I think.
I've
The
been to a few.
footballs. The footballs.
I've
But
been to a
like I said, credit to them for being able to keep that brand and IP in existence that long, because that's not easy to do. A lot of these other teams and brands and everything haven't been able to sustain a fraction of that amount of time.
No.
So there you go.
We
But
got
they
some
managed, so-
longevity up here.
Yep.
Sesquicentennial. 150.
That is right.
I'm surprised I hadn't heard more about that.
It's a CFL. No one really cares.
fair enough.
I'm giving them their flowers. I gave them the respect for that.
Enough said.
But yeah, it's true. The irony is that the Hamilton Tiger Cast and these other ones get so mad, but it's like this team has been there for 150 years and none of you care. It's like, you're right, we don't.
Yeah.
And yet they keep rolling on. To their credit, they keep rolling on somehow.
There
They
was
won the
fan-
Grey Cup last year.
was it last year?
They did, yeah. They won last year. Bobby, I think I made my point. The prosecution rests. They literally won last year.
Enough said. Yeah.
But don't the Argos win every year?
They've won a
No.
lot. They've won quite a bit.
Recently, in the last 15, 20 years, yeah. But
Yeah.
prior to that, they were losing a lot.
They were, but look, I'll say this: I can actually use, because it actually applies. I can use my birth year of 83. So from 83 on, they have won the Grey Cup 8 times.
Pretty
good.
Considering
That's
the
not bad.
Leafs record, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. So like 83 they won, 91, 96, 97, then took a gap, 2004, 2012, 2017, 2022.
Yeah.
This is pretty
So
good. Every 5
years.
to 10 years. That's not bad. That's not terrible.
Yeah.
A lot of franchises would take that, man. If you're going to say, all right, so in the last 40 years, you won 8 times. Seems decent. It's all right.
There you go.
Spurs 21, Spurs Crest 21. Good evening, gentlemen and gentleman, Eric. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
That was
Good evening.
nice.
Good evening, sir. He's being nice. Come on, Eric. He's being nice.
No, I don't think he is. No.
He's
I'm
gentleman.
Nope. I'm not sensing niceness. Nope. I sense it.
Terrible.
I sense a dig.
Mm.
Who?
Actually, you know what? Since he's Spurs cards, actually, and I did get a chance to check out your channel. I had seen it. I was meaning to go check out the channel, and I'm liking it. I'm liking it so far. I'm appreciating it. Let me ask you. There was a question earlier tonight about Panini getting Tim Duncan. Thoughts? As a Spurs fan, I'd be curious. You'd probably be well qualified to give us some thoughts. Be curious what you think about that. Hudson Bay moved out of North Dakota after the border was established. There you go. Thank you, Stu. I went to an Argos Grey Cup game in Winnipeg when Wayne Gretzky and John Candy were part owners, so that would have been 91 probably. So if that was the year, that would have been 91.
And then they bought that card, and the rest is history.
Mm-hmm. Did you celebrate your 3-year anniversary of whatever the hell this episode show was a couple weeks back? I didn't actually. That's a valid point. Like, what was the 3 year exactly? So, consecutive, because it would have been in October. So let me see. That's a good point, Josh. A very astute point by you. Yeah, it's actually been consecutive with every week a show since 2020, which is right.
And when did I come in? Right about that time.
It would have been maybe on a consistent base, the first couple were with the meat. So it would have been still, I think some meat would have still been there, but it would have been pretty early on, I would think.
I think it was February, March, something like that. Yeah.
So what I'm seeing here, I think, if I've got this right, I want to say October 19th. So actually it would have been yesterday. Would have been 3 years.
Oh, nice.
Almost bang on. So Josh, technically, this would be the 3 year anniversary because it'd be 3 years in one day. This would be the first episode. There you go. Mixed feelings. What makes this current autos unique is how rare they are. They won't be anymore. That's fair. That's fair. That's why I thought it would be worthwhile asking you. Thank you for the feedback. Appreciate that. Did Amit get a slice of his anniversary cake? I actually got him a chocolate stick, but unfortunately Eric ate it.
Yeah, right.
It was real sad. We tried. It wasn't for lack of effort. Amit's out there somewhere.
The first time I came on the show was episode 46.
This is like a comics. Y'all can now follow for the first appearance.
What episode was I there, Eric? If you're looking,
No,
it would have been still fairly early, but I don't know exactly when.
I think it was like January, February.
Yeah, maybe 2021, early 2021.
I don't know, Bobby. I just know I found it at one point because we were curious, a year or so ago, and I hit save and put it in my library on YouTube. So that's the only reason I just hit it. It doesn't tell you a date.
Yeah.
It should tell you a date.
I'm not getting that.
Sorry, you're talking about when you did you actually click on the episode? If you look at the description and expand it, it gives you the date.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go like on the description, expand it. Maximus Parker, good evening. I'm thinking about starting a repack product, as you should.
Oh, okay. August 6th, 2021.
All right. So a little over 2 years. Maximus Pumpernickel here says, I'm thinking about starting a repack product. Do you think people would like? Which one is this one, Eric, the one you're looking at? What was that date for?
So the first time I came on the show was
that was for you. Gotcha.
Episode 46 on, what did I say? August 6th, 2021.
Right.
I think I was like,
it would have been single digits. It would have been single digits, Bobby. I retroactively put the numbers just to make it easier to keep track chronologically, but it would have been in single digits somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but it would have been single digits.
Yeah, I think it was 6 or something like that. Yeah.
My office was much emptier. It's funny looking at the wall space because there's so much more yellow. I don't have a lot of stuff up.
Maximum Pumper says, I'm thinking about starting a repack product. Do you think people would like something like that? I heard if you get in touch with the right people, I think you can make it happen for yourself. Josh says 52 times series 156. Tonight's episode 158. Don't forget, there was a time period when there were 2 episodes a week.
Mm-hmm.
So don't take it literally. There is, and don't forget also that there are also bonus episodes that don't get counted as part of the official count.
That's right.
Not every episode got a number,
but
there were times that there were 2 episodes in the same week.
Sunday and Thursday?
It was Sunday and Friday for a little bit.
It was Friday? Okay.
Yeah, it was Sunday and Friday. Because originally, early on, it was a lot of Sundays. And then eventually the Friday got incorporated too. There was just so much news that we could literally talk through the thing on Friday. And this will have more to talk about on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Those days have changed. Like I laugh sometimes because I used to, I get asked sometimes like, oh, what's the agenda for the show? It's like, look, there's stuff I can talk about, but like news, it's a little light. Mm-hmm. We're gonna make fun of some chocolate sticks tonight. That's what we're gonna do.
Pretty much, yeah. Mayonnaise, chocolate sticks, and fluff. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Although I do have a couple of things that I'll touch on here in a minute. Zach says, went to the other day and watched early shows. I love how Eric Lee randomly joined one night and just never left and constantly complains about being here. This is Eric's way. Every time I try to ask a question, Eric makes it about himself. Psh, all the time.
I don't think that's true. I don't think I make things about myself. But
Can you explain about your repack product?
But I did go out for a mountain bike ride just before the show tonight. Man, I had a really good ride tonight.
But did you open a box of Series 1 while you did it?
Oh, I did that yesterday. And when we did that, we opened up first box, first pack. We pulled the Bedard at work. So that was kind of a big deal yesterday. But what else?
You and 10,000 other people. So whatever.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, well,
those late night Sundays were brutal for me. Yeah, they were. That was part of the reason I shifted it over to Friday on a consistent basis. It was just easier. Friday night was easier.
Will he ever be worth anything when his card is made?
That's why
millions.
That is why.
Well, Bobby, though, that's the Connor McDavid argument. There's tons of Connor McDavid young guns, and they're still worth tons. They're worth thousands.
Yeah.
But the
Bedard draft card though is going to be printed in much less quantity.
Sure.
It will not have the value of the young gun because everybody wants to chase the young gun. However, for the Bedard collector, there's still some value. That's why when I did it, when Lloyd was opening the box, we were chatting about it. I like the format though, where we got a chance to banter a little bit while he's opening the cards and showing everybody.
Sure.
But one of the things but we said flat out, there is going to be some value to it. Yes. But if you're patient, you can get it for a better price and there will be some value because people still want might still want to collect it.
Yep.
But it's not worth what the first couple are going to sell for. So that's just silly. Just wait. There's going to be more pulled, more will be in the market. We'll find out what the real price is. Probably $100, $100, $200, something like that. That makes more sense. And you're sort of the diva of the show. Facts.
I am not.
Such a diva. Bedard game dated moments were released today and sold out quickly. Yes. Yeah. Right now, Bedard, everything. It's hot. Scorching hot. Let me ask a question. Well, actually, let me touch on one, and then I'll come back to the Series 1 thing. I want to talk about this briefly because there wasn't a lot of news, as I mentioned. However, I did want to talk about this for a second because this is a bit of a disappointment for me. But this is a product that came out this week as well. I want to quickly touch on it. So our friends at Topps over at Fanatics Land did a 2023 Finest Flashback. So they've been doing these retro Finest that they're doing that you can buy on Topps.com. Which is all fine and dandy, but obviously every year that they do one, they move further along the timeline of the different designs. This is based on the 1996 Finest design. The reason I say I'm disappointed is because I actually really like the 1996 Finest design. If any of you are paying attention, I'm actually collecting a set of the gold refractors of this design. So obviously I like the set. It's $240 US per box, which is crazy high. For me, my opinion. However, I'll tell you what I saw. It's got intimidators. It's got all the subsets that I like. I went and looked at a break of these. The colors look flat. I got to see one in person, but it feels like the bronze looks like a brown. The silver looks like a gray. And the gold looks muted. So unless the screen is showing me wrong, these colors are, this is a mock-up, of course, but it feels like these are more brown than bronze. It's like they weren't able to quite match up. This is something that I talked about with Jason Cards and Comics when I was doing one of the episodes with him. This is what I was worried about and what we talked about Topps trying to redo these old classic sets. And if you were around in the OG version, you literally have the OG. You can do a comparison and go like, oh, I know exactly what this is supposed to look like, and it's falling short of what it should look like. And it's kind of sad because I don't know if they have the capability. I know they're going to have autographs and stuff like this, which is cool. Nothing wrong with that. I think there'll be some good hits in it, no doubt. But I'm a little disappointed in the execution. That's the way I'll put that. And the price point's kind of high for what you're actually getting. It feels like to me.
Yeah, when you're paying $250 a box, like honestly, if you break it down this way, that's like $250,000. So you buy 4 boxes, that's $1,000. What are you getting from that?
Yeah.
Really? Like $1,000 will get you a nice mantle card. $1,000 will get you a nice vintage Cordy Howe. $1,000 will get you a great Sawchuck. $1,000 will get you a nice pre-war any card, right? So, you have to really watch about what you're buying in boxes that you could buy in cards.
Yeah. The other component of it as well, though, in the angle that I wanted to take on it when I was talking about it is that even if you're thinking, all right, you know what, I've got enough money, whatever, nostalgia. If you were around in that time period and you remember that set fondly, it feels like a bad imitation, because that's why I said getting the color right is so critical, because I know exactly what the original looks like. So if you take a kid who doesn't know and it's new, whatever, maybe they like it. But then the problem is that I know exactly what the original looks like. Exactly. And I might have copies of the original and be able to put them side by side and go, oh, this is. And we have the advancement of time, but it's like, you couldn't replicate 1996 technology. Come on. Yeah. That's disappointing. That's extremely disappointing. I'll reserve full judgment until I see them in hand. That's the fairest. I need to really see it in hand to be 100%. I'm not impressed so far. It didn't look good. Like I was like, oh.
Are you looking at scans though? Because sometimes they're hard to see.
No, I watched a break. I watched somebody break it and actually go and grab the cards and look at them.
Yeah, so sometimes it's skewed a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, that's why I watched a couple. I wanted to get a couple just to see, and obviously different lighting setups and everything. Sure. To be the only way to be 100% is to see it in person. I got to see it in person to be 100%, but
for sure,
like you can tell when a color is very different. Like you can tell. So we'll have to see. We'll find out what the truth is shortly. 1970 Peachy Piscomiski card, a strange one. Good to know.
What was that?
Pete Stemkowski card is a strange one. His head looks Photoshop and covers half the card. Say so.
Yeah, I don't know the card. It's hard to know every card in the sets.
Yeah,
and that's my favorite set too. Pete Stemkowski. I can't remember.
There you go.
What looks weird about it?
He says that it looks Photoshop. His head looks photoshopped.
Oh, Peachy did a lot of that. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
That's the thing, because Topps would send up the artwork to O-Peachy, because Topps put their cards out first, and O-Peachy would adjust. So if he had a change of teams, which that's why O-Peachy would release in January of that year, they would wait for the trades and change any players that definitely got traded or added new to the team. So there you go. That's the way it went, and there was a lot of airbrushing.
There was one that I remember.
There's a lot of bad ones. Like, honestly, they're bad shots to begin with, and then they had to.
Oh, but Bobby, there is one that I remembered in my mind as soon as I was thinking about it. It's the first one that came to mind. I got to show you this one. This one. This is from 88 O-Peachy. 88 O-Peachy. Check out that jersey.
Oh yeah, that's lovely, isn't it?
Like it's so blatantly.
I just never liked those cards.
There is zero subtlety.
Zero
subtlety.
I don't know what it was about those cards. They were just not there for me.
That's fair. But I'm focusing here on the Photoshop job. I'm focusing here on the Photoshop job, though. I'm focusing on the photo. Eric, how do you like that Photoshop job right
there? Yeah, that Kruskinski card is definitely a legend. It's right up there with the Rogi Vachon on what's it? Whose body did they throw him on? Lounsbury or something. It's just horrible.
Yep.
And
that was the first one that came to mind.
Krushelniski was also used on the 1984 Ken Linsman card, where they photoshopped Linsman on Krushelniski's body.
Okay.
So he's had, a history of.
And Kenny's got a small head.
Yeah. He showed up the other night to the first of many Bruins celebrations.
The rat was there?
Yeah, wearing a wool hat. Everyone else is dressed in like business casual, nice clothes, right? Polo shirts. And if you look in the picture they took, he's in the back row and he's just got like a wool hat on. Like that's what he showed up wearing.
Is that the one you guys are talking about?
Yeah, that one's special right there. Yeah. But
he's staring into your soul.
Sean is probably the most.
He's trying to read your mind right now.
Yeah.
He's like
the Rogi is definitely probably the most notorious.
I don't see what's wrong with that card.
Well, his head, it feels like it's large relative to like the body because I think it's perspective, honestly.
It is.
It's the shot that they took. But I get the idea. Real quick, I'll read a couple here. Dave G, also good evening. Question for Bobby. How rare is a signed pure work? That is very generic, but sure.
It is quite generic. Most pure war depends on the player for the most part. It's funny. The most obscure players are probably the hardest autographs to get. Then again, the demand is low.
Agreed.
So you have a juggling act. If you're looking for Turk Baroda, if you're looking for, I don't know, Howie Morenz, they're all out there. It's just getting it certified, and it's whatever you want to do with it. It's great. They're harder to find, sure, but not that hard to find. Some guys.
He was in a tanning bed, Eric. What's the problem? The man needed a tan. Here, hold on. There you go.
What's wrong with that one?
It's on Ross Lonsberry's body.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, he's got two colors, Bobby. His head is one color, his body's another color.
Oh,
he's literally two colors.
He had a reflection.
I'm trying to find the Lonsberry card. I know it's.
I'll put it. It's a Rogi Vachon, right? It's Rogi Vachon 71.
Yeah,
I'm looking at an iPhone, so sorry, guys.
Yeah, no problem. I'll see if I think I can blow it up here. Give me 1 second, and I'll pull it up on my end. I will find a picture here so I can share it for you. There we go. Can we use? Let me see. What's the best picture? Make sure I get the color right.
I have the Lonsberry. Hold on.
All right, hang on. Before you do that, let me do the Rogi Vachon. I can make it bigger on the screen. Give me 1 second. Let me do that first. All right, Bobby. So check it out. His head and then his body.
Oh yeah.
Like you can see, it's a completely different body, different neck, different everything, and like his head is not even lined correctly.
Well, I think one of the worst ones is the Dennis Hall from the Sheriff Coins. There's two different ones. One, he's got a long neck like a giraffe, and oh yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's an attempt.
And they
It's an
just stuck
attempt.
it on
Did I mention an
Ross's body.
attempt? Did I mention an attempt?
Yeah. You see
All
the
right, let me-
perspective difference there. But if you look at Dennis Hall from
Mm-hmm.
the Sheriff Coins, I think it's 1968.
Okay.
And that looks pretty bad.
Yeah, there's some pretty
One,
bad ones.
he's really dark, his face. And then the other one, he's got this long, extended neck. It's amazing.
Nice. Let me read a couple of these here. Policy says Upper Deck has similar issues, Carlos, where they do some of the throwback instances, they're off. Yeah, that's one of the sad. Look, if you're going to use an old design, I'm okay with that. That's why I said Jason and I had this conversation. I go, I don't mind you using an old design. I get it. Obviously, I prefer you come up with new designs. However, if you're going to use an old design and a design that folks like me like, please do it justice. Like, please, do your best to replicate it to the best of your ability, because you're trying to pander off of that old nostalgia for that design, and we're not getting it.
I think one of the most famous cards is 1972 Stan Mikita. Is that ring a bell with you, Eric?
1972 Stan Mikita as being,
The weirdest picture you ever seen for a card. Is it Stan Mikita?
Well, the weirdest picture I ever saw was any
I
card
just
that
wanted to
showed
show you that this is
Check that one out.
Mike
Carlos.
Krushelnyski. You can even see the
Ken
corner eye.
Linesman or the Stan Mikita.
It's Mikita.
So this Linsman is actually Krushelnyski. You can tell by the 25 because Linsman was
There you
13.
go. Yeah.
So they just put his head on Mike's body.
What year, Bobby, you said?
72 O-Pee-Chee. Yeah.
Stan Mikita. Okay.
I think it's Stan Mikita. Could be
Oh,
wrong.
we'll find
And
out.
if you have, I tell you what's fun
You'll
on this
know
subject
as soon as you see it.
is if you have Ken Reed's book, he
Mhm.
covers a lot of these.
Yeah, he does look at the different silly cropping pictures.
You're saying 72, 73 or 71, 72?
2, 3.
2, 3. Gotcha. It's the one where he's a floating head?
No,
Okay, so then it's the one, then it's 71, 2.
no, it's 72, 3. Maybe I have the wrong player.
Oh, maybe. Hold on. I think I know what you got, because there's a Team Canada one. Maybe that's where I'm getting confused.
No,
that's the
an
floating
insert.
head one.
Insert.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
hang on. I think I got the right one. Hang on. I'll pull it up here, and you can tell me if this is the one you're thinking. Is this the one you're referring to?
No, sorry.
Okay.
It's the wrong player. It's the weirdest shot you'll ever see.
No worries. All I was going to say was the weirdest shot I've ever seen is every time they show Mike Trout as a baseball player. That confuses me.
That is confusing.
It's pretty perplexing. I don't remember like that at all. It's weird. All right, let me read a couple of these here. Imagine if they had airbrushed the Gretzky, similar to that, the 88 O-Pee-Chee one I showed. That was fun. The Simkowski card is creepy. Maximus says, I was kidding about the repack. Just seems like what the content gods gave us with the Dan the Man card video. We did talk about it a little earlier, but that's fair enough, Maximus. All good. I like it. Simkowski looks like a floating head added to a body. That's probably accurate. 357 here. Hey, Carlos and everyone. Good evening. If that's just Rangers lose the series, it may be worse than the Bruins last year. They had a chance, man. They were in control of that game. I didn't catch the last piece. It's pretty bad, yeah. Look, Stemkowski looks like he's trying to bend spoons with his mind. There's a good call out. Facts. Shrek played goalie. That's right. My favorite is the 70-71 Phil Esposito with the plaid pants. Yes.
So Phil did not want to participate in this. He thought taking pictures for cards was stupid. And if you'll notice, he is wearing his jersey, but he's wearing Fred Stanfield's gloves. And he's wearing his pants because they caught him as he was coming out of the locker room and forced him to do it. He just thought it was stupid and didn't care. And if you also look at Ken Hodges' card, you can see Ken Hodges' pants also because he did not care either.
Works out. Jeff says happy anniversary. Thank you, Jeff. And thank you, Josh, for pointing it out. I honestly didn't realize that the timing worked out because I had done a couple of lives before that, but the consecutive without interruption every week didn't happen until, like I said, the latter portion of October. So valid point. Thank you for bringing it up. International Border says, for bad airbrushing, check out the work on the 86-87 Warren Young Penguin symbol. So let me see if I can find it there. 86-87. So 86-87 Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Here's a good one, Eric. You'll like this one.
All right, which one?
I think I know what he's asking about here, but let me
Okay.
actually let me pull it up and make it bigger here so we can all see it properly. There we go. This will help. Okay, 86, 87 Warren Young.
Oh,
Check out let's check out the logo on his jersey.
yeah,
The
kinda
triangle's
threw that
upside
together.
down. The triangle's upside down. I don't know what's going on with that penguin. That's an attempt. We'll call it an attempt.
Yeah, I've never seen that one, so thanks for pointing that one out. That's pretty cool.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. There were a lot of them. If you go back, there's a lot of crazy ones. It's weird. 1970 Jerry Sloan rookie can definitely take a run for weirdest photo on a sports card. Yeah, if we go down the rabbit hole of weird sports cards, there's a lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. Some good choices, though. Thank you all for bringing those up. Those are some good ones. I wanted to ask a question, since obviously we do tend to have a hockey-centric crowd. Doesn't mean it's exclusive, but I'm just curious. Did anyone who does do the hockey, did any of you open up Series 1? Curious if anybody went in. I know for a fact some of it's flown off the shelves for those who open boxes and packs. So for those that don't, obviously, whatever. But I just thought I'd ask if anyone had opened or had any interest in doing so. It is one of the big sets of the year, and I can imagine there's going to be a lot of interest going forward. We'll see how it works out. The next couple of weeks, there should be a lot of interesting sales as a lot of people move through their stuff.
We had someone call today. It's a regular customer that wanted like 6 boxes, so we had to pull them and put them behind the counter.
Mm-hmm.
So people want this stuff. There's no question about it. I just, without going overboard that I was doing earlier, those 2 insert sets are just disgusting. I won't apologize for saying that they're disgusting. I don't know what anyone was thinking. The teacher's pet and the whatever the other one is called is just the most.
Oh, do you do portraits? The portraits?
Yeah, they're the most grotesque, stupid, unnecessary, gross, lazy, dumb. I can go on and on. It's just absolutely horrible.
Now you're gonna get shit thrown at you. Billy's literally gonna throw shit at you.
I don't care. I don't care.
Refuse.
That teacher's pet thing belongs back in, what was it, UD Choice, that was literally made for little kids. That's where it belongs.
You do realize that little kids open flagship too. They hand the kid the packs and they collect some of that stuff.
This stuff is just horrible. But everything else I thought was great. So, wow. I mean, I've looked at just about we opened up, a couple of boxes. So I got a chance to see the Young Guns, the canvas, the other inserts, and I thought they did a really great job. And I would support all of that. I think they really did a good job with it. I just don't know what people were thinking with those 2 inserts. It's just embarrassing. Yeah, you remember what the coach says in Shorzy? Not Shorzy, in Letterkenny. It's fucking embarrassing. And he kicks a trash can. That's it. That's his key phrase through the whole thing. It's fucking embarrassing. That's what that is.
Dr. Good Video says the portraits over the top. They're good.
No.
Sounds to me like we have Eric's response to this question from Center Ice Cast. Your thoughts on your portraits cards? I think we know what Eric's answer is.
The Letterkenny. And the coach in Letterkenny, and that's the meme. We should, have a GIF of him just saying it, kicking a trash barrel and just screaming, "It's fucking embarrassing."
We'll pass along your feedback to Billy.
I'll tell Billy to his face, and I love Billy, but that's brutal.
And he'll be like, "More UD portraits, Eric."
But everything else I thought was really good. I thought they did a good job.
I was deeply disturbed by the not real first one of one Young Guns. Untruths.
Well, you did pick that up, and I think that was really, I was impressed that you have that information in the back of your head somewhere, because I sure the hell don't.
It helps that I was there. It helps that I was there at the time and remember that being a thing. And then I had to think about it, but I was like, no, they had a couple of years of one of ones. And the only key was figuring out for the years they had one of ones, if they had the young gun. If they had the young gun, then we're able to narrow it down real quick. Turns out there was a case for that. So for the rest of you, if you do open into the UD Series 1, it says, first time ever one of one young guns. Go look up the checklist for 99 2000 Upper Deck. Go look at the checklist. There's young guns there. And then go look at the parallels. And there's a one of one parallel. So that means there's one of one young guns in 99 2000. Untruths. But if you want to narrow it down to rookies, though, there's only two. And you can go look that up. Or you can watch the podcast episode where I explain it. 9668.
We have to discuss this on Monday. I will have to be 5% more mature, but it's going to be really difficult.
Oh, which one? The UD portraits?
Yeah, well, and the teacher's pet.
Oh, yeah. No, I think we'll touch on it briefly because I don't think Bobbles didn't open any. So, it's, there's, like I said, there's going to be, look, it's fun to make fun of the inserts you don't like, but the truth is there's so many inserts, there's going to be a bunch that you probably like. And there's probably a bunch that you probably don't like. So it doesn't really matter. It's like, no, just then collect the ones you like. I will say, I thought the outbursts were well done. I thought the outbursts were pretty good and they look nice. I think they look cool.
Everything looked good.
I thought, and I think it's great they didn't just change the foil. I thought it was neat. They actually circled the player, surrounded the player with that foil, and it plays well with the light. It looks nice and shiny as well. And they're about one per box. So if you want to just collect your regular player, you can probably get a pretty reasonable price and get a cool looking card. And it's not gonna break the bank. I bought a Jamie Benn for like $4 shipped. Not crazy. So I was like, cool, man. That's gonna go in my Z Folio. That's gonna be a cool looking card in there. It's gonna go in there.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I thought, like I said, I'll keep saying it. I thought the rest of the stuff looked really good. I thought they did a good job with everything. I saw, there was a couple of the inserts, but then there was like the sub inserts from that insert set. We pulled a few of those. There was a few that had refractor technology on them. And yeah, I thought they did a good job with everything else. I just don't know why they would throw that other garbage in there.
Eric's like, F them kids. I see what you're doing.
No, I'm saying that's fucking embarrassing.
See, again, they gave McDavid the crown for his portrait. Yeah, they made him the king. That's right. They did. So I'll actually share this one. This will be a good one. And by the way, now we've covered a lot of the main ones I wanted to touch on. I touched on that finest flashback, which I was very disappointed in. We've looked at some weird pictures, some weird airbrushing. So we've touched on that as well. That was fun. And then UD1, I think I'll save some of that discussion for the AMG podcast because obviously they've gone through selling it in store. And I think they're going to have more to say. We'll probably be able to talk about that at more length because nobody here opened any boxes. I participated in a box opening from a distance, but I didn't actually open anything myself. But I'll be curious to see how people receive it in the next couple of weeks. I think it'd be cool. But I did want to share, speaking of flagship, I did want to share a card that I was able to acquire this week. And I'm looking forward to getting it in hand. And I'll kind of explain the history behind it. Because for me, it was a good one that I was looking for. So this is, I want to say 0102 maybe, 0102 Upper Deck flagship. And they did those retro young guns. So this is obviously the Medano. They did a retro young gun, but this is the exclusives. And for the exclusives for the retro young guns, they had them out of 50. So that was one I was able to make a deal on, pick it up. So that scratches another one off that early 2000s part of the checklist. And these are good. Obviously, though, I'm happy to have it. But I'm also kind of like, that's the same picture they use in O-Pee-Chee Premiere. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same photo. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's the same photo they use in O-Pee-Chee Premiere. I'm like, we don't have another North Star one? This is like the one? I was like, it just made me laugh. I was like, okay, whatever. See if I can find it. I'm pretty sure that is the same one. But anyway, it's cool. And I'm happy to have it. It's out of 50, which is nice. And that's neat. Bob Jackson says, I find them silly just like all the other ones they've done.
You said it's out of 50?
The exclusive that year for the young guns is out of 50. So that is a tough one. Early 2000s out of 50 is actually a tough card to come by. They don't come up all the time. So I've been looking for that one for probably 20 years. 0102. They also have the one in 0405. Yeah, I'm still looking for the exclusive for that one. It's a tough. Those ones are tough. And 0405, 0304, 0405 are weird because you remember that's around the time of the lockout. Anything in around that lockout is a little murky. It's like the cards got out, but the sets weren't really released in full. Quantities are a little bit more limited. It exists, but it's tough to find. So Bob Jackson confirms the same photo. Yeah. So, but anyway, whatever. It's for my collection. I'm happy to have it, and it'll go with my other one. And I'm thrilled to be able to add that one to the PC. That's always nice. And hopefully, I can find some of this other stuff and keep chipping away at it. That's the plan. Thank you, Cece. Appreciate that. Yeah, that was a good one. I was a big fan of picking that one up. And I'm hoping that I can grab some of the other ones. I did grab, speaking of exclusives, for some reason, I guess it's a theme with the whole flagship thing. Appropriate that it's a flagship parallel. But I did get this one as well. Same vein, but a different card, obviously. Let's go through here. Bobby actually says, what was that, Bobby?
It was Keith Magnuson, number 87.
Keith Magnuson. And that's what, 72?
72-3.
72-3? I will look for it.
Now, if this is not the weirdest card you ever seen, then I don't know nothing.
Keith Magnuson. Okay, let's see what I can find it here.
Hold on. Is it the one with that, like, it's taking a picture from like a silver...
Like a fisheye, kind of almost.
Yeah, it's really kind of cool. I actually like that card.
It's cool, but it's weird. I'm just saying. It's probably
it
the
is.
weirdest card you'll ever see.
I like that.
Now, to be clear, is this so Eric, are we confirming, is this 72-3 or?
Yes.
Yeah, it should. Let me grab it.
I think it's
Yeah,
tops.
he plays for the Blackhawks. Is that the right one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll pull that up in a second. Hang tight.
It's in here somewhere.
Okay. So do you have the Ziggy Paul for Young Guns with that set? I do not. Go to Goats. I appreciate the callback, though. What's the strange would have written in the back of the 68 Hovelish card? What Chicago offered for Frank? Go find it. Okay. So you'll have to confirm for me if this is the right one. Eric's going to grab it as well.
You
confirm.
don't have to confirm it. You'll know as soon as you see it.
Bango.
No.
Okay, wait. Okay, let me go back here.
Number 87. Tops.
Magnuson.
Here it is. Okay, he's got it. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, I had the Opeachy, maybe. That's what the problem.
Tops, yeah.
Is this top specifically? Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Opeachy said, fuck that, we're changing it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that picture looked pretty normal to me. So I was like, okay. But no, that I agree. That is a more weird angle.
Bring that up. Here.
Have a good night, International Borders. Yeah, I'll pull up the tops one. It'll take me a second. Thank you, Eric. That helps me narrow it down. So it's tops version. Okay. Okay, now we got you. Okay, cool. Let me pull it up here. It'll take me a second. Let's use this picture. It should work.
It's the most unusual card I've ever seen.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah,
Eric. I'm bringing up the blown up picture so that we can all see it better.
Yeah, I really like it.
There you go.
Yeah,
it's
I
the
think
puck eye view, man.
It's just something, isn't it?
It is the
What
thing, yeah.
were they thinking?
Do we know who number 12 is for the Blackhawks? Because
12.
I'd have to look that one. I have to look that up.
Dennis Hall?
Number 12
idea.
is
16
in the
there
background
was,
also.
Yep.
But isn't that a strange card?
Yeah, it's
I
very
agree.
strange.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's very unique for the time. You know, when most of the cards just pretty much either, had a waist up, portrait
They went
shot
out
like
on
that,
a limb on
or
that one, I'll
they were
tell ya.
standing there with their, with the stick. To have something that unique for the time. Yeah, that was I love that card.
It's a cool card. I get it, but I'm just saying it's just like, wow.
And you didn't see a lot of game action cards. They were all,
No, those
so
are,
that's
yeah,
actual game action card. So
if you can see the game.
yeah, so I
Barely.
think it's one of the coolest cards of the generation.
I think it's definitely up there. I think, though, the coolest card of the generation, if we want to talk about that late 70s period, I think the best card in the late 70s hockey is this one.
Oh, talk
Wow.
about
That's a good one.
disaster.
Sensational. Look,
Yeah.
look at Bobby. Look at the vibrance. Look at the color.
Right.
Look at the majesty.
That was a great design, the 76.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, it's popping off. It's popping off the page right there.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Talk about superimposed.
Chicago.
That's horrible. I mean, just everything about he doesn't even look
it's
like
horrible
Bobby
that
Orr.
Austin traded him because his knees were bad. That's what's horrible. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
I know you abandoned him.
You know the truth. That's not what they did.
I will know the truth.
He's the hobby historian. Are you questioning the Burrell?
I'm questioning that because we all know Alan Eagleson lied, and
Eagleson doesn't lie. He's just
Bobby was an idiot for not calling.
Wait, who's an idiot? Wait, who's an idiot?
Bobby Orr.
Lightning will strike upon ye.
Yep.
Bobby Orr and management, Harrison
You're
and
not going to work
management never talked. All right, they all went through Eagleson, and Eagleson never told Bobby Orr that the Boston Bruins not only want you and give you like a lifetime contract, we're going to give you a portion of ownership of the Boston Bruins. Eagleson never told them that because Chicago was going to put cash in Eagleson's pocket. So he never told Bobby the Boston Bruins deal that they were going to make him part owner of the Boston Bruins. So
counterpoint, he did tell him, and he's like, partner of this bullshit, I'm out of here.
No.
To Chicago.
I'll take
not at all. So that's one of the reasons that
I'll be called the chief in Chicago.
Got kicked out of the Hall of Fame, went to prison because he lied to a lot of his clients to benefit himself, and
he's 92 and he's still alive. How's that?
Huh?
He's 92 and still alive.
Alan Eagleson?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure he died. No, I think he's dead.
So what you're saying, Eric, is you didn't finish the job.
Oh, come on, Eric. You're questioning the Burrell.
Alan Eagleson.
Again. And Alan Eagleson's 90. And it shows here, I don't see date of death. Born St. Catharines, April 24th, 1933.
That guy's
on Facebook, man. Check him out. You guys on your Instagram. You got to go on Facebook.
Nobody,
as I can tell,
nobody is going to mourn him when he dies.
I like this. If you go to Wikipedia, Bobby, so it shows his affiliations, everything, alma mater, blah blah blah. Occupation: lawyer in brackets, disbarred.
Yep.
Known for defrauding NFL players in tournaments. Known for. Yeah.
Known for. Oh yeah.
Awards: Order of Canada in brackets, revoked.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything was taken from him.
He was instrumental in starting the NHLPA actually in '68. So
absolutely.
There's a lot of good with a lot of bad too.
Well, why did you got to figure, why did he start the union? It had to have been so he could somehow make a profit himself.
No, well, actually, he introduced LCA, which also had the MLB, the NHL, and NFLPA, and the Major League Basketball League. So LSA. They were the company, and he introduced them to the NHL, and the NHLPA came in, and actually, the battle between the NHL Players Association and the NHL themselves was a big battle of who got paid, and the NHL wasn't paying the NHLPA very well, and he was instrumental in getting the money. And what happened? The NHLPA. They had amazing with LCA. They had amazing salespeople, and they made more promotions, like all the things like Lipton Soup and all these other things that came along. They did more things that they actually, the NHL bowed to them and said, "Okay, let's make a deal." In 1974, and then they finally made a deal with them. But NHLPA made a contingent on that, and they said, we're going to still continue on with the NHLPA licensing ourselves, but we'll include you in all the other deals. But we're doing exclusive stuff. We can carry on, like thermoses and sheets and what have you. So they kept on doing that stuff where players got exclusively, but they split the deal going forward, which the NHL was not doing before with the NHLPA Players Association. They were.
How much money was he taking off the top for himself?
Oh God! Oh yeah, he made tons.
Yeah, he's just a living piece.
But he can only take so much because it was a deal with LCA. So LCA was pretty.
I know he was also huge with the Summits. With Team Canada and the Summit Series, and
there was three people involved in that. You had the NHL, you had the NHLPA, and then you had the CHA, which was another thing because they ran the Canadian counterpart of that. So you had so many people with their hands in the pie on that one. It was
but I'm saying he was instrumental in making all that happen also. trying to
Yes.
say that there was another side of the coin, that the Summit Series probably wouldn't have been what it was if it wasn't for him. But my question is, of course, what was he getting out of it? Because that's everything that man did.
Well, everybody gets something out of something, right?
I get nothing out of this, Bobby, except a headache.
You get the satisfaction of talking to the bro.
Thank you.
That's what started this mess.
Not my fault. It happens.
That's what
You don't
started.
blame him. You don't blame the Burrell. Settle down. Settle down. Bobby, I took care of this. Like, enough. Plus, I don't want to get dropped. We already did a podcast episode on the hockeys. That's enough.
Yes.
We don't need to relitigate. All I need to know is Alan Eagleson sounds like Not Swell Fella. And we do have an appreciation for Not Swell Fella. We do. So I'm just saying, we will have no slander of Not Swell Fellas around here. Eric. Moving on. The only card I have in 72 hockey is the Magnausen card because it looks real cool and I have it. Good for you. Good to know.
You leave Pinko de Mayo alone. I love his comments.
Then you can read his comments in Braille.
Yeah.
I would read his comments because I like his comments.
You can read them in Braille. Yes. Now, a question. So now we've covered a lot of the main pieces that I wanted to touch on. I wanted to make sure news-wise there isn't much going on. We touched on some of the other pieces as well. We will talk more Expo stuff as we get closer. So thank you to Brad for joining us earlier today and giving us a little insight into some of the stuff that's going to come after. Eric will steadily increase his appreciation as it gets closer because he's going to angle for those Leafs tickets. And the only way he's going to do that is if he shuts his pie hole and starts being a lot nicer to Brad between now and, again, 2 more Fridays. You got 2 more Fridays to shape up or ship out, Bougie Eric.
14 sleeps.
Do it.
14
Just saying. Yeah. So we've got that going for us. But yeah, that's why I say, like, I'm not in a rush to go and throw that all out because, like, over the next couple of weeks, we'll get a chance to wind into it a little bit more. And then the episode before Expo week, we'll actually be able to, I'll go into the floor plan. We'll take a look at some of the stuff that's going on there. Like I said, we'll get a little closer. Yeah. If we can, I'm not going to commit to it, but I'll reach out and see if I can try to get, if Menzie wants to come on and chat. He's a hard man to reach these days, but if we can, that'd be cool. But if we can't, we'll do our best. We'll see if we can do that because obviously he can give us some insight into what's going on this time around. Yeah. But it looks like there's a lot. It looks like there's a lot of moving parts this time around for sure. So
we'll
give it a go.
Number, what was it today?
Yeah. Good. Are you happy with the location? Feel good?
Yeah. He actually gave me a nice location. I didn't really want to go into the hall where PSA well, it was the hallway. Actually where the Hansen signed, that's where he wanted to sort of get me in there. And I said, I don't want to be really back there. I'd rather be in the main hall. Okay. Especially with the app and stuff like that, But
you should have gone across. You should have seen if you could have gone across from Marcel's booth, and then you could give each other moral support as you ignore Eric.
That might help.
Not going to ignore me. He loves me.
But me not being a card guy, even if I was just set up regularly, I wouldn't want to be down that way because I think most of the card people would. It would be best suited for them. So it worked out really pretty good where I am. I'm somewhat happy. So I yet to see the booth and how it's set up, but we're against the back wall. I think we're independent of our own booth, and we're right beside the beer gardens.
There you go. Well, look, I being beside the beer garden, I'll come and visit. And what you can do, like when the moment is right, instead of giving Eric access to the app, you could give him a coaster. I know.
We have coasters now, do we?
I do. Yeah.
I like it.
Yep. As a fan, our friends at Sticker Mule actually had a little bit of a special. Occasionally they'll have specials on them, and I actually gave a couple of these to Carlos Cedar. He had a good chuckle about it. I just thought it was perfect. It's like we got the usual coaster, but no, these are well,
he has to sit his Tim Hortons coffee on something.
There you go. Exactly. I just thought it was funny, and I got a chuckle out of it when they. I said, "All right, what the hell? Send me a couple of these coasters. Let me see what they look like." And I was like, "All right, I'm reasonably impressed. Not bad. Good job."
Did you look up on the site or?
They send me because I've ordered before. They'll send me an email when they've got a special, and they'll say like, "Oh," because I don't want to pay the normal price for it. They said, "Oh, you can have," because I think it was $50. $19 for 50 of them. I was like, okay, comfortably. That's what I mean. When it's on special, when it's on sale, normally it's higher than that, much higher. So when they say, oh, you can buy 50 for $19, like for $19, sure, yeah, that's comfortably under $1 per. That's great.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing something with Needham on it, but I'm not too sure. Maybe I should go and have a look.
Yeah, because they'll do
Those
those
aren't
sales
stickers,
sporadically.
those are coasters, right?
These ones are coasters, but I've done the shiny stickers with them as well. The
Yeah, but what's on
reflective
back?
stickers.
Yeah, I know. I got the shiny.
This was
sticker.
it's a coaster, just blank.
What's on the back? Is it cardboard?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
So it's not bad. It's a little coaster. Not a big deal. I think they did a decent job with those. But the key is getting them on sale, because whenever they got them on sale, then the price is pretty reasonable. I was like, it's like I said, $19 for 50 is comfortably. It's less than 50 cents per. Which okay. Now you're okay. Now that
I want to
feels
get
right.
some promotional stuff, but timelines and whatever, and I want to get keychains, but then I don't want to get too kitschy. I just want something or kitschy. Sorry, something that's kind of cool, something we can take with you. I don't know. I'll have a look.
Makes sense. Yeah, take a look. Yeah, sometimes, like I said, sometimes the prices are okay, and if something comes on sale, then it's usually good. It's good. Name here, I'm back. Pie to pop out earlier for family activities. Get it?
Family activities. I have to cook some hot dogs.
With pepper.
Whatever.
After.
You probably overcooked the water.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
that's what happens. When you go
Football game
past
last
the boiling
weekend.
point.
Facts.
It's finished.
Football game last weekend was unreal. Ducks lost by 3. Probably one of the best football games I've ever watched. Nice.
As long as they lost, I don't care by how many. I root against them every Saturday.
Amazing. Zach says, because I'm Carlos Merch, I've got a couple of things here and there. I usually have the shiny stickers. I'll bring a couple of those with me. I don't go out of my way to advertise them, but if you find me and you want one, I usually have one in the backpack. I can hand you one. The coasters is a new thing. I think that's kind of fun. I think I'll sign some obscene things to Eric and leave him with a couple of them.
Lucky.
It's like, never get in the act, you bastard. Never get it.
Never
Reggie
get it.
Lemon. Or maybe I'll do like 6 coasters and it'll be Reggie Lemon. It just keeps going. That'd be pretty good. Just saying.
Next time I see him, I'm going to ask him to do some type of video for us.
Well, my thought is I wanted to kind of see if I could do something equivalent to like, what's it called? Cameo. I wanted to do like a thing, but I wanted to do the thing where Reggie Lemon would be like, hi, Eric, listen, people have been getting this wrong for years. For the last time, my name is, and then he says it and it takes like 2 minutes to finish the lemon. That's the video.
Nope.
Just look at the Mahavlich, same face on Tops and Opiji, different bodies. There you go.
I also think they're in different uniforms. I think it's when he got traded. So I think one is in a Maple Leafs and the other one I think is in Detroit.
Around that era, probably would have been Detroit, yeah. That
But
probably would have been the one.
I actually don't have either one. I just looked. I don't know why I don't have either one, but I can't find them, so I must not have them.
Mm.
So I feel like I let everyone down, and I am sitting here in deep shame, and I will spend the money, whatever it takes, to make sure that I get my hands on those. Mom, can I borrow some money? I gotta buy Frank Mahavlich cards.
Amazing. So with that said, based on what we talked about, question I would have. So I wanted to make sure we touched on that. I got some feedback about which Beckett issue. So I'll try to record a couple of those this weekend and see if I go. Sounds like chronological is the main consensus. Most people seem to like chronological, so I'll stick with that for now. That's fine. Sounds good to me. I was actually going to ask one other question since for folks. I had that 92 O-Pee-Chee baseball box. My original plan was to open it for video. The problem is I came to a realization. I went to double check just to make sure. And it's literally all base. And I'm sitting there like, I don't know if I could make this very interesting. Like, it's just base. You just open pack after pack of base. I could talk about some of the players from the time period, but there isn't much I can add. Like, it's just like, yep, base cards. We're just going to keep opening base cards. Lots of base cards.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to watch that.
I'll be honest. I don't think I even want to record it. That was kind of the thing. Is I was like, if it's just going to be base cards, I'll just open it in my own time, or maybe I'll open it while I'm doing a stream. And if I see something cool, then that's different. Kathy says, "Who are you?" That's a philosophical question.
Yeah, Yeah, it's funny. She doesn't know who I am when I ask for money, but when she needs me to go do something for her, it's oh honey, oh honey. Yeah. But it's like, Mom, I need to buy Frank Mahovlich cards for the show. And it's, who are you? Who are you? Yeah. I see how it is.
I was hoping she would do the new phone who dis. New phone who dis is big time.
Yeah, new phone, who dis? Yeah, that's exactly
So
what
so this is the one. So this is the one, Bob. It's 92 Peachy Baseball, which is good, very nostalgic for me. A good era for me. But like I said, all it is really is just space cards. It's literally, you know, if you've seen the top set, you know what the cards look like. You got the Pittsburgh Pirates on the back of that one. It's cool. Like for me, I'll enjoy opening it either way. But it's just like, okay, am I going to be able to make this interesting for a video? I'm like, what am I going to be able to add? There's no chase. It's the base set. You know, most of the base set is very similar to the top set. The only real difference is they threw in more Blue Jays and Expos, and at the same time they threw in the Gary Carter tribute set. That was part of was included in this one. But yeah, that's about it. It's a lot of this. You've seen the top set, you've seen the majority of this set. I'm gonna open it one way or the other, but I just was trying to figure out if I wanted to bother with it for a video.
You know, if you gotta open it one way or another, you might as well throw a camera on it and put it up, and whoever wants to watch can watch. You know, you never know what people like.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's one of those things. So sometimes I look at it and go, is there anything I can combine with it? Sometimes with stuff like that, I'll combine something else with it to try to make the video more interesting, also for myself, because it's a pain to try to open it while you have a camera set up. It's a bit of a nuisance sometimes. So I'll see. I'll think about it. Base cards are undervalued. Yeah. And I don't think that's going to change, unfortunately. So that's kind of where it is. But I get what you're saying. Namir says, I've been on the hunt to find out what Tutu's first physical card found in packs from 0304. So I was trying to find a list of release dates from that year. I think it was Be a Player Memorabilia. Any help there? I don't remember name, but maybe what you could do, release dates. I bet. Couldn't you does Cardboard Chronicles go back that far? Cardboard Connection. I don't think they go back that far. I'm trying to see here. Sports card sets, hockey. Let's see if I can find it. I don't think they probably listed alphabetically. I don't think they have any release dates. My first thought is looking at seeing maybe the trick, and if I can find one, I can always see if I can find it. Maybe the trick would be to look up some of the old Beckett's of the time, if you can find anybody who happens to have one, and check, because they would show release dates.
All right, just let me listen. Not that I want to help this guy, because as we know, I am not a fan. But if you have every single one of his rookie cards from all the different sets, it's in there somewhere. So you do have it. You just don't know which one it is. So you've already found it. You already have it. Just that should be good enough. Now leave us alone.
See, Dave, this is where you got to come down to Expo and fight him. Fight him in Thunderdome. You're 840 years old asking your mom for money? No wonder she takes away your cookies.
I am, first of all, well, she does take away my cookies and my M&Ms. But the new thing is that she hides my M&Ms on me, which I am not.
So she takes away your M&Ms or your lemon M&Ms?
I like to call them WWs because I'm witty and I turn the M&Ms upside down and they become W's. So I call them WWs. And she takes them from me and hides them, which I'm very upset about because I think I deserve M&Ms. So anyways, and on the other part of that, I am not 846 years old. I am half that age.
At least.
So just saying.
Just saying.
I think I have to step out for a bit. So Bobby, can you carry the show for the two of us?
Yeah, I'm not going to be around much longer myself. I got some write-ups to do. I'm on a deadline.
But something came up.
I was going to step in for an hour this time, but I guess it's turned into 3.
So, we made it to 11, but I got to jump off and do something.
When are you going to?
Is it something illicit? Is something illicit? Something I can make fun of you for?
Well, you would always find.
Oh, I would.
No matter how serious or illicit or whatever, it's not anything like serious, like hospital, anything like that type of importance. But it is something I got to get done. So,
are you going to be back?
Depends how long it takes. I'll watch the clock and
Fighting your mom over M&M shouldn't be longer than 5 minutes.
No, she's
Yeah.
listen. She might be a little older, but she is wiry.
Hmm.
All right. I try to get by her and get to where I think they're hidden. I can't, dude. She's got a cane. It's man, I'm telling you.
Cane.
I'll end up in the hospital. She's wiry.
Yeah.
She's an old
All right.
Portuguese lady. You don't mess with her.
Yeah.
Be
Why don't you
gone,
go do
young
that?
lady.
Why don't you go do that, Eric? And Bobby, what I'll do is I'll kind of gauge where the chat is right now because I honestly want to follow it based on if they've got things to say and everything, I'll go for a little while longer. If not, I'll cut her off a little early and go get a bite to eat. I'm good either way.
Yep.
All right. I'm just going to stop the cam and mute it. You can kick me out and sit me in the whatever room or leave me here. It's up to you.
I'll send you to the nether realm. You'll be all right.
Yeah. Purgatory.
Cool. All right, let me read a couple of these comments. I'll make sure I'm caught up, and then you guys in the chat can kind of guide where we're going. Otherwise, we'll wind her down here. Let's see. What is Brian Gray's future? Cold death, like all of us.
Has there been any news on him lately?
He hasn't said anything. He's up to something. Like he's alluded to being up to something, but he's always up to something. But specifics, no, nobody knows. Nobody knows really. He could pop up anywhere, really. He could it could be like I've heard a bunch of speculation. It could be he's doing a thing with Fanatics. It could be a thing, yeah. Or he could be trying to do another thing. The key to this whole conversation is he said he was stepping down as CEO of Leaf.
Yes.
Does that mean he no longer has? Yeah, that's all he said. If he still has ownership, then it could be he's doing something else and not focusing his attention on that.
Ownership, yes.
Yeah. So like that's different than somebody being like, okay, I'm stepping away and I've sold off my shares so that I'm doing something completely different and then whatever. Or he could literally just be being like, yeah, I got some ideas and some plans, but I want more time to do it. So I'm going to play around with that.
Or
but no idea.
Not well.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah. He's a big boy.
It'll probably be a player memorabilia tops. If you were going to guess which one is the 03s, probably. College Channel used to not be live more than once a week. Well, it was live more once a week, once upon a time. Now you have something going every other night. Video wise, this is actually slowed down from the heyday. There was more before.
Yeah, you got some extra stuff going on. That's it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, when it was crazy and there was news all the time, there were videos every day, basically.
Pop-ups on certain, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right now, that's why, look, on the Fridays, I joke about it with everybody. There isn't anything that I feel is newsworthy. Like I said, Hockey, I was asking about the Justin Gamble thing. I laid out a couple of things. We talked about the repack thing a little bit, but here's the thing. I don't care what the kid's doing. Like, I don't care. I know of it. I paid attention to it, but it's like, is he scamming people? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
But so is a bunch of other people. And I don't care about them.
There you go.
Well, what makes his thing special? Nothing. But like I said, it would lead to a better discussion about the nature of repacks in general. Like my recommendation, don't participate in them. But can people get good stuff out of them? Yeah, it's happened. Can you as the end consumer benefit from somebody else opening a repack thing, getting a card and selling it? As the end consumer, I bought stuff that came out of repacks for sure. I know that definitively. But I didn't have to buy the repack. I let somebody else do that, incur all the risk, and I just bought the card that I wanted. I'm still buying the single.
The biggest part is the risk, right?
Yeah.
Like you're really getting into something that's very risky on your dollar value, return value, ROI,
I just think right now we're in an era where whether it's repack or whether it's from a manufacturer buying a box, the return on investment isn't great for a lot of the stuff. It just isn't. It's not.
To keep repacks going, you'd think it would be, unless they're just in quick and gone quick.
Well, that's why I mean though. Like if you're going to bother, that's why I made that point. Like similar to breaking, if you're going to bother with it, then wouldn't it make more sense to go with somebody who has done multiple iterations? If they're still here, if they've been ripping off people the whole way, there's no way they would still be running because nobody would buy it. Yep. So if they've been doing it for a while, maybe some people lose money on some of those packs, but it's got to be consistent enough to keep a flow of customers coming through. So that means there's got to be something working with it. You've got a better chance. You're probably still going to lose, but it's probably a more stable choice than some of these fly-by-night guys that got here 5 seconds ago.
Yeah. Yeah. And people are easily swayed on, they listen to, they're limited and they get caught up with an algorithm and all of a sudden they're in a break. And that happens a lot with jerseys. It happens a lot with other things too. So It's not just cards.
Yeah, makes sense.
Raz,
That's why I say, like,
all that stuff's going on, you know. And I know there's a lot of people involved, and nothing you can do. And I know friends are, and I sit there and go, "Why?" And they go, "I don't know. It's just fun." Okay, well, that's your entertainment value, and you can spend your money whichever way you want. True, right?
No, 100%. I think what it comes down to though is I understand why his channel blew up the way that it did. I'll watch the vlogs and stuff, but I treat them as entertainment, is what they are.
Sure.
But I don't take anything he says seriously, and you have to assume that a lot of it is, I won't go as far as to say staged, but you have to assume a lot of it is like, well, you're getting to cut down, distill a day or days into these snippets and take just certain parts of it, and you're playing for an audience. You understand this is an entertainment product. It's like the chasing cardboard guys. They could be sitting there doing a negotiation for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. They're not showing you hours and hours and hours. They're showing you a couple of snippets. So you're getting a taste of what the overall discussion or conversation or whatever happened was. Yeah. So it's not authentic in that sense. You're not getting it live. So just remember that. It's part of the deal. Eric's to go eat a jar of mayo in the closet. Facts. He said it was an autograph business, like running autographs at live shows. I guess when he's talking about like Brian Gray, maybe. Not sure, Paul. Brian Gray's been selling and whatnot, I believe. That makes sense. First he was CEO of Leaf, then he was going to become CEO of Laugh, and then after I was going to CEO of Love. I see what you did.
It's the 3 L's.
Carlos is a hobby content viewer. What's your favorite content? News, gossip, watchdog content, auctions, collections. I listen to a lot of it just to understand what's being said. My favorite is probably when someone has, and if they show off interesting cards or an interesting collection, I'd rather just see that. Not all the time, because sometimes it gets repetitive. You'll see a lot of the same stuff. But if somebody's curated something and they put together like a grouping of cards, I think that's probably the part I would enjoy. Other stuff I just watch just to see what's being said or how it's being presented. Yeah. But it's almost like I'm doing it mechanically just to hear and listen and see, as opposed to enjoying it. The stuff I'll enjoy is if you show me something interesting, configured in an interesting way.
Yes. Stimulating for whatever you're into, right?
Yeah. If you can present it in an interesting way. So by the way, sometimes you can take something straightforward, but maybe you present it in an interesting way. Maybe you've got an interesting story to go along with it that, okay, if the story is engaging enough, that in itself could be the background. Otherwise, a lot of it becomes background noise after a while. The news stuff, I can read. Honestly, Sports Collectors Daily does a really good job. I can just read the news if that's what I want. I don't have to watch the news. I can just read it myself. So that's kind of me.
Cards and Comics does a good job too.
Yep, for sure. Yeah. And he's been focusing a lot on the 90s stuff.
Different angle. Yeah.
It was fun though that he did say, like, he was answering the question, like, why is he buying more 90s stuff and less vintage? But spoiler, what it really came down to is that right now he's not finding the value. Certain collections that he's doing in vintage, he has a lot of what he wants. He will still buy more, but it's got to be the right time, right place, right situation. So he's being pickier. And the 90s stuff has more stuff he's interested in right now that he can afford that falls under his budget. And that's the reason why. But I still think it's good to hear it. I think it makes sense. When will they actually see things go down with Fanatics? People are saying they're going to revamp card shows, etc. So
I heard a bit about that. I don't know what's really going to happen. We don't know, and I don't think they know. I'm sure they have some plans. Hobby's a fickle place. You have to hit it right, and the Expo's hitting it right now, but the Expo didn't hit it for a long time. There's all these other small shows, which are great. I do see that these are becoming more event-based, the larger shows, but the smaller shows are more concentrated on the collector base, be it vintage or modern or both. So I do see going forward, Fanatics. See, I really don't see Fanatics doing anything that's going to really blow your mind. I think something repackaged, it's a repack of what's been going on for the last 5-10 years. So I don't really see it really change or difference. I think they bought in at the wrong time, and I think they think was the right time, and it's not. And I think they're going to have to deal with that. That's a personal opinion.
I think it's going to really, like I said, whenever we speculate about, whenever I hear the argument, it's like, oh, Fanatics bought it the wrong time. I was like, you don't know how much they paid. 3/4 of the deal is equity. Equity doesn't really cost you anything. So here's the thing: they could make about the same amount of money as before, and the leagues and players would still get bigger cut.
It doesn't
just
even
by
matter
having
about
equity.
Really, I think we're talking about product going forward than we are about anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares what goes on for Fanatics business-wise unless they go public and you want to buy their stock? Otherwise, what are they going to do for the hobby? 10x it? Okay, yeah, okay. We lived through that already, or are we going to live through it? I don't know. I don't think so. I think they've walked into a hobby that they shouldn't have really got into in the first place. But that's just my opinion. We'll see. We'll see going forward. I don't want to be a negative Nelly here, but I'm just saying I think that they're thinking too big. The market is so unpredictable that even the sharpest dude in the world can't predict what's going to happen in the next year. And if they were smart enough, they would have bought in 2000. There we go.
Yeah, well, the Fanatics, it wasn't an entity in 2000. I think what's going to be.
Just saying, somebody would have, if it was that lucrative, if they knew it was coming.
I think the key, though, is going to be that it's one vertical of many. Fanatics is not relying on the sports card market to do what they're doing. They're already doing a bunch of other stuff. So it's just another angle. It's another pillar in a bunch of this, because they sell the merchandise already. They do all the merchandise source for everybody.
That's already been going on for years.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
What's new that's 10xing? I don't know.
Oh no, Bobby, I'm going to repeat what I said. Everybody always fixated on the 10xing. I think he just says it. I don't think he cares. He could have said 50,000x. Who cares? Like, it just make up a number. 10x sounds good.
It does sound good, but will it come to fruition on that or any part close to that? I don't think so. I think they're in a hard place right now, and I think they're trying to think it through. And I don't think you can think things through because we don't know where the hobby's going. We don't know where the economy is going. We don't know where the stock market's going. If we did, we'd all be millionaires. So there you go.
We got to work on that #invest. Let's go through here. And about for the latter portion of Zach's point here, question. The card show thing I think the card show thing will happen, but the thing is, they're not going to jump in and just be like take over. I think they'd rather partner first. Like the one I threw out is the Burbank show. Fanatics it would be natural for Fanatics to go like, hey, can we do a thing where we'll work with you on that? You've already built a baseline. So now we can come in here. We'll offer some equity and some promotional muscle. We'll bring in we'll bring Tom Brady in to do appearances and stuff. And then they just work on that and then build off of it. And then maybe do a similar deal with the Dallas show and do a similar deal with some of these other big regional shows. We got Geoff over there at Megastore. If they do like a big Atlanta card show, it could be the basis off of that because they already have a baseline.
Yeah, I think that would be smart of them because I don't think they can reinvent the show. I don't think they can do anything special that anybody else hasn't thought of or has done. So, for them to build it that way, that would be kind of smart.
Yeah. It's a way, it goes back to that analogy that I said about the Walmart versus Target thing. It allows you to build a foundation that allows you to have control. You don't try to do everything at once. You say, like, let's set ourselves up for success by making sure we've got the baseline figured out. And then, don't overcommit. Just commit enough to be able to be like, we'll be involved. And then if we need to scale up later, we can, but let's start simple. You've already built something that's working. Let's just build off of that and add a little extra.
But I think the impression of Fanatics is that they're the savior of the hobby at this point, or at that point when they bought. I think that's what a lot of people are saying. Oh, Fanatics! Oh, great! They're gonna. We'll see.
Yeah. The only exception though is if Fanatics overlords come in and offer the big check, then I will sing the praises. That's
a different story.
We can work it out. There's enough zeros to make that happen. We can figure that out. Stig says, dropping off PSA submission of the monthly card show tomorrow. A group of 69 OPG Deco baseball cards. Clemente Carew, Mays, and yes, very nice too. Are there any sports card podcasts you listen to? A bunch, but none of them that I would go out of my way to recommend to you. If you like your hockey card gun show is okay. They do a good job. Stacking slabs is okay, but sometimes he goes in a weird place.
Recommend two. It's different.
No, but the thing is, here's the thing: like, they're okay to listen to, but it goes back to what I said a second ago. The first question was that I like, and I was very limited in what I said that I like versus what I listen to anyway, just to hear and understand. Are there any sports enterprises I listen to? Yes, a number of them. Are there any that I would specifically recommend? Honestly, a lot of the stuff that's being said, I'm like, this is stupid. No, please stop talking.
It's not even entertaining. Yeah.
And so I'll listen to it, just be like, what did you say?
You listen to 3 minutes and you sit there and go, where is this going?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like, I'd hesitate. There's plenty out there. Just type in Sports Card Podcast and look. I'll be honest. Here's the way I'll answer that. The 3/4 of them are about the same. They're about the same level. Pick one and listen to it if you want to. Bob Ashton says, anyone else listen to Careening Cranium? Last I think for the channel had like 10 viewers for live. Outrageous. I don't think card shows are broken. They're fine. I think they're okay. Most of the show, again, it depends on what you're talking about. But I think
they're doing well.
Yeah, the CSC show, like I said, demonstrated that if you put the right combination of people together, look, it may not be everybody's cup of tea. However, there was plenty of people on the floor. And I probably can check with some of the dealers that I do know and ask how they did. But ones in the past have done okay, and there was enough foot traffic to make it interesting. Where well, I guess we'll see next show if dealers come back. They probably did okay. That's the answer. The proof is in the pudding.
If they expanded on that, they could get bigger, twice as big, and get some even vintage or more modern people. That show is growable.
Sure, I agree. Totally agree with what you're saying, Bobby, from Zach. I think you're on point with Fanatics and the big shows. Yeah, I think there's a phased approach you could take. I think there is an opportunity there. There is some stuff you can do. I think the key is not to try to lose your mind and try to start something from scratch. Like, no, go to Burbank and see if you can strike a deal. Be like, that'll be mutually beneficial. I'm sure he'd love to have the help if you can offer something that is good as a partnership. Sure. I'm sure he'd be like, yeah, we can work something out. Plus, he still needs allocation. Like I'm sure you guys can work something out that makes everybody
another
happy.
Big part that they're holding in the background, which is strong for them. Yes.
Yeah. So they can be like, we'll help you. You let us in on part of this. We'll help you this way. We'll make sure you've got plenty of Topps product in the store when you need to sell boxes and break and do whatever. Sound good? All right.
Happy.
Yep. It's business, man. It's business. Sports Car Radio says working at LCS is as fun as it sounds. Yes. It's been representative. That's called retail. Yes. I agree with that statement. Yes. It's retail. You think it's fun to be sorting through the singles of comments? Doesn't sound like fun to me.
It used to be in the 90s.
Yeah. But the other one is like sorting through the cards, especially the same cards over and over again. If you're running a shop, getting people to come in and think the value is here, but the value is actually here. And you have to have that conversation a bunch of times, especially these days. Imagine running an LCS today and having to be like, yeah, no, but I paid $1,000 for this. Yeah.
Buy another box. Maybe you just had a bad box.
Here's the repack.
Oh, the repack, yes.
Yeah, do the repack.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
I had to stop listening to Stacking Slabs. Brett just doesn't seem like he has focus. Yeah, he's all over the place. I will say, so maybe it'd be a better way to answer the previous question about podcasts. Stacking Slabs sometimes is painful to listen to because Brett likes to go off on these tangents and he enjoys his own magnificence. However, when he has a guest on that talks about a specific topic, that can be interesting. Like right now, he's got a series where he's talking about certain parallels and having somebody come in and offer an opinion and do a little back and forth. That can be okay. Fortunately, they're not too long, thankfully. So I like long form, but if you don't have enough to say, like if you're just filling it with filler, then I'm not interested. Then it's just like, yeah, no.
I don't think anybody's hit the right combination of what we need for going forward. Look at how many podcasts in 2001, let's just say. You were coming in, a lot of other people were coming into, taking this market, and there was a ton of content. It was great. And now we're thinning it out, and it's hard to find the good, that's why people are asking for suggestions, because they just don't know who to listen to.
I agree with that.
Most of the people are gone, and you're probably pretty tired of hearing Joff. So, how many do you have? You got Cards and Comics. He does one a week or whatever, and he's cool to listen to, but not every time, because sometimes it's mostly about comics, and then you have all these other ones that you're not totally interested in everything that they say. And the mainstays that if you're like vintage, you can watch Rick, and he does a good job, but it's very short. It's not very long. Nobody's interviewed. I like good interviews with different people. I think more than anything else, but we don't find a lot of interesting people.
I think that's fair. I think what's tricky though, and I think there's two scenarios where if you're talking the interview, there's two scenarios I think that work for that. One is if you're talking about with a legitimate expert and you have certain things that you want them to speak on where they can offer expertise. Yeah. Then you're getting information, you're getting knowledge. Awesome. Other side of the equation, I don't mind hearing from a collector. I was reaching out to a few folks, to a few friends to do some. I don't call them interviews. I call them like collector. Personally, I just call them like, well, I'll invite somebody to do a one-on-one kind of conversation thing where I've done some of those with different folks, and I'll talk about their collection, how they do certain things, their thought process behind it. I'm happy to do that. It works if somebody is actually a collector, though, has been collecting, and maybe they have a certain understanding of what they're doing, and then we focus on that. Because they're not experts, but they know exactly what they're doing and why, and then they can explain it to you and talk through that piece.
By default, to become the expert of that set.
That's right. So that works. That can work, I think, because then you're hearing a collector tell stories about how they developed or built a collection or whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's those two niches, but it's not going to work all the time. And one other thing, also playing to what you said, we joke about the fanatics overlords, but the truth is there's no incentive for a lot of these folks. It's not self-sustaining content. It's not going to, unless you just enjoy doing it. But there was a moment in time where people were like getting this, Dustin's done a very good job getting like 50 sponsors for stuff.
Sure.
We joke Neo does the stuff, but also it's their secondary business. It's not their day job. If somebody was trying to like produce content consistently, it's like, well, you better have a lot to talk about, or you better have incentive to do it, or it's going to be trouble. Real trouble.
Creative, for sure.
Yeah, because you eventually run out of, if you try to be original, come up with original content every day, it's like
it's tough.
You run out of stuff to talk about. When I look at the channel and I do a lot of the stuff, I did a ton of talking head videos back a couple of years ago, and I've gone back and looked at. I've even done some Redux episodes where I flesh out something, an idea or something I was talking about at the time. And then I've thought about it. It's like, oh, is there anything I should go back and look at? I kept scanning through and I listened to some of them back, and I was like, no, I'm pretty much in the exact same thought that I was back then. I wouldn't be adding anything. Like, I still feel exactly the same. My thought process is the same. So I'm like, I can't just make this video again just because, just to make new content. Is like, I already did it. Go watch the first version. I already said it.
And sports card radio has really lost their zing, I think, unless there's super bad news and they're on somebody. Otherwise, now I went to listen to their podcast whenever it was, the last one, and I just sat there and went, okay, yeah, nothing new.
Well, I think in their last live, I was listening to the live, and the impression that I got was that right now one of the brothers is actually doing some work with a company or working on a project or something, so he's busy, and the other one who does a lot of the videos is like, unless it's really interesting, there's no reason for me to do it just for the sake of doing it. Like, if it was just, oh man, the scam, you could do 50 videos on Justin Gamble if you want, but like, who cares beyond like the first couple? It does. If you found a way of angling it, you can milk it to a certain point. There's always going to be like, if your topic is scams in the hobby, well then fine. You'll always have something to talk about. There's always something, a breaker or a repack thing or whatever, or somebody rips somebody off on Instagram. There's plenty of stuff if that's all you want to do. But a lot of people, so there is an audience for that always, but then other people are struggling to try to figure out what else to do. And Hockey here is correct about this as well. They make more money doing an article on their website with the ads and that than they do on the YouTube. So in reality, which is a better use of your time then, if you're going to spend the time doing one or the other?
Yeah, I'm looking at it from my viewpoint, not from their viewpoint, what they do and what they, I'm looking for content, and I'm not finding quality content anymore.
That's fair. Yeah, but I do understand from their perspective, if they're going to do it at all, they're going to go wherever the better return on their time is. And right now it's the written article, because with the ads and everything on there, they actually make more than YouTube AdSense, which doesn't pay a lot. And they don't have any sponsors. So that's not a thing that's going to be useful to them. So I think right now they're content to do their live every week, and that works. And they can just do it live, boom, turn it off, done. Write a couple of articles, boom, done. And then that's their content making. And they're good with that. Makes sense to me. Zach says my local 150 table show does 2 shows this year and doing 4 next year. They're very happy with attendance. Don't think it will all slow down next year. No, it's not suddenly going to drop off the map if the show's decent and it's in a good spot. I think it'll be fine. Paul says tough finding the right amount of angst. Facts. All the hype managed charlatans have fallen by the wayside. They'll be back. Just got to get the money back in. This was for you, Bobby. Favorite hockey player growing up?
I'd have to say Sittler and Salming.
Sounds
Pretty
all right.
much. Those are my time periods. So
Yeah. 70s Leafs. Bob Jackson says Carlos' show works because they don't have a secret agenda, except the Illuminati one. Moving on. He's the observation comedian of the hobby. Eric is pretty funny.
oh yeah.
Moving on. Those that do daily content essentially repeat themselves in their episodes. I gave them daily content. The thing is, you don't have a choice. Eric, can I ask you a question? So we'll start winding it down actually, because I'm glad that you came back, so we can talk on a couple of things here.
Sure.
Content wise, I know you don't get a chance to sit down and watch a lot, but let's touch on a couple of these things here.
Okay.
I think anyone who tries to do daily content right now is in a lot of trouble because there's just not enough to. I talked about the time, we joked about it, but it's truth. At the time I was doing multiple lives per week, it made sense. There was definitely enough to talk. We could talk about this at length and still have plenty to talk about it. But stuff was happening. It was fresh and lots of things. Right. At this point, though, right now, it's like we're kind of in a holding pattern. We can still talk about cards. We can still talk about sets. We can still talk, but we're not going to spend hours and hours and hours. No, we're gonna talk about chocolate sticks. We're gonna make fun of Brad going into the background of miscellaneous stuff. We're gonna talk about Reggie Lemon, but it's mostly for our entertainment. That's why Friday night works, because on Friday night, Carlos can go grab his beer. We hang out a bit. Bobby's in the garage of knowledge, and we move on. Right. And then we're done. And then there's no pressure on anybody to do anything the rest of the week.
No.
If I want to make some videos, I can. I have that luxury. We've got the podcast thing, which is great. But Eric can attest, the podcast has a certain structure. We sit there and we chat about it before we even hit record. We'll be like, all right, so you guys want to talk about this or you want to talk about this? There's the path. And then if something interesting comes up for a second, we can do a quick diversion. But if you notice, the diversions there we'll go for a moment and then bring it back in line with what we're talking about, because we want to get in and out 60 to 90 minutes. Good. There you go. That's enough. But it allows us to talk about something else because it's structured that way. And it allows me to still have another thing on the channel that makes me happy. And I can still reach out to some folks and do that. But I do it because I like it. It's not mandatory for me. I like doing the stuff with AMG because it's different. The conversations I get to have with those folks are different.
Right.
They're running a card store. They can have a completely different perspective.
Yeah.
And then I can ask them questions and they can offer me some insight that way. If I was doing the exact same show every single day, that would be miserable.
Yeah, I was about to say, that I think the reason you're able to do 3 things a week or maybe 4 is that they're all different. If you do one of your things that you do just by yourself, call them, I don't know what you call them, but the little short vignettes that you do by yourself, that's different. The thing we do on Monday is different, and we joke but don't joke that it's 5% more mature and 5% less angry. We kind of keep it straight and focused and talk about what we discuss, and then you do the stuff you do with AMG. Now you're breaking, you're talking about their involvement with PSA. You talk, all these different things that are happening over there at this new shop, and the direction that Sherry's taking it in, and introducing all these new people, and then you got this dumpster fire on Fridays. So they're all different. And I think that's why you're able to do that. I think the people who want to come on, during the boom and in the pandemic, it was every single day. But even now, if you're trying to do a show 3-4 times a week, and that show is the same thing, the audience is going to say, I don't have time for this. I'm not interested. You had a captured, not you, the proverbial you had a captured audience for like 3 years.
Yeah.
That's not there anymore. I don't need daily content to keep my sanity. So, on a Friday night, I'm chilling out, playing with cards at my desk, and I got, this on, great. Monday night, I'm, Tuesday rather, when we download it, I'm in the car driving to or from work, or I'm out for, a lunch walk in between work. I got it on in my ears, so all these things are different. And that's why I think there's an opportunity to be successful there. You have different people on, Bobby and I aren't involved in the AMG stuff, right? So they're not hearing the same voices.
Yeah.
So as long as it continues to be different, you will continue to be successful, I believe. Doing the same thing 3 times a week with the 3 of us being, joking around and being idiots, that's going to get old fast.
Plus, you got a strong group in the chat too, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
But that's the thing. It gives it.
Why we're successful on Friday nights is because of the people that are in that chat. If we had 3 people in the chat, I would not be wasting my time doing this. But when we have 50 something people that are watching and 30 of them are typing away and they're in on the joke and they're, I look forward to doing this. This is great. And it's only because of them. Not you, Bob, everyone but you and Nate.
Let me read a couple. Let me read a couple of these real quick. I gotta make sure I read this. Arizona wins 6-5. Thank you for the update, Jeff. Appreciate that. Paul here says also necessary to do the boom because there's no card coverage. Very true. That's right. So a live 2 would be beneficial. Would be too beneficial to miss. Today a weekly show is fine. Exactly. That I think that's enough. The key to this whole is that it worked out nicely. That Friday night settled in nicely. It's good. We joked about it because originally when I installed Eric as the semi permanent co-host now, he took over from the Burrell. But the thing is, Bobby's still here. We joked about it initially for the first little while. He's busy. He's working on stuff. But then Bobby will message me and say, "Hey, send me a link," and I go, "Yeah, no problem." But it's not required. If he wants me to send him a link, I'll send him a link. If he's busy doing something, no problem. Sounds great. But everybody's allowed to kind of come and go and do what they need to do. Nobody's bound to anything. The only person who has to be here is me.
Yeah.
And as long as we figured that out and we go and we've got stuff to talk about, sounds great. But yeah, if we don't, then we cut it down and we shorten it up and then do that. But the only reason we can do the episodes that's gone like this is that there's enough to talk about. But if we tried to push it and do multiple days, it wouldn't work. Not now. No. There's just not enough to talk about to carry that. And it would be terrible for everybody and a waste of everyone's time.
Yeah, we can't do 7-hour shows anymore. We can't do Friday and Sunday back to back 7-hour shows.
Card ladder.
You can't do it.
Yep. Everybody, is this live? How about a recap? Eric is going to start recapping it in about 10 minutes, and then he's going to start recapping right from the beginning.
Absolutely.
So just stay tuned. Stay tuned for that recap. It's coming. But yes, the bottom line is that in that discussion about the content thing, Hockey 99 I was asking about favorite podcast. The problem is most of them have settled into like same. I listened to one episode, it's the same as last episode, it's the same as the episode before that, and it feels like a rotation. I joke always about Dustin and a lot of those things is like, but I'll still listen to some of the episodes, but a lot of times like a lot of them are reaction videos now.
Yes.
And it's not his fault. It's like, well, it's easy. Content that makes sense. Like you hear something, you react to it, and then you say your piece on it. I could do that. It used to make sense to talk about when one of the third-party graders came up with a new special or something. I could still do that, but do you want to hear about it? I can make a video about the gem rate data for the month and tell you how many cards PSA graded this month. Do you want that from me when like 10 other people are going to give you that info? Or you can just follow Gem Rate on Instagram and you'll get that answer. So I'm like, what am I adding to I'm just saying, truthfully, what can I add that would give you benefit? I could do it. It'd be really easy for me. I literally will open up Instagram and read you the numbers on the screen. I could totally do it. But like, it doesn't, I don't see what value we can bring to the table with that. So for me right now, having the Friday live works really well. Having the podcast was fun because when Bobbles asked if there would be something that might be interesting to do, I thought, hey, sounds like a great idea. I've wanted to do something like that. I had a podcast anyway. So I said, yeah, let's just make it this. And by the way, I reserve the right. If I have a cool topic that I want to talk about myself, I can just fire up the microphone and just say my piece and record the episode and upload it anyway. Mm-hmm. There's nothing stopping me from doing that anytime when I want to. And we can still have the weekly episode, but maybe I have something specific that I want to talk about for 15, 20 minutes. And I can do that.
Yeah. And
I like having that option.
Yeah. And that's what I said. That's one of the things that you can do, and that makes it different because it's just you saying, hey guys, it's like you're doing with the Beckett's, you're doing that alone, that's completely different. It is one specific topic, just you talking about, that topic. That's different than doing a panel show. So yeah, again, that's why I think you can continue to be successful. And we do have, great, people that tune in, and, they're following the account and are listening to, all the different things that are being done. And again, without them, this is just a waste of time.
Yeah,
So we've talked about it privately. We've said it on air before, that without, the people that are here all the time, this, I wouldn't be here every Friday. I have better things to do. But
No, you don't. But
chocolate sticks to eat. He's talking about eating chocolate sticks. That's what he's talking about.
I was talking to the proverbial better things to do.
God, yeah, it's important. It's important to make that distinction.
Yeah. Me, I have no life, so this is
not at all. No, not even a little bit. It's pretty much cyclocross chocolate sticks in this. This is it. That's all it is. What I was going to say though, as well, is that I have been. Well, that's why we talked about it earlier tonight, and I thought I would ask the chat. I've been surprised how many people got a kick out of me just going through an old Beckett. That was an experiment. I just thought I would try it. That's what I'll say. I'm looking for ways of making it entertaining for me. That's why I talked about the thing with the box. I go, I'm going to struggle to find a lot of entertainment value. Like, I'll open the packs and everything. I'm happy to talk about some of the stuff that's in there, but like, there's only so much I can do. I can talk about some of the. I remember the players in a lot of this stuff. I remember it because it was an era that I started collecting. But there's not a lot I can add. So maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. I'm going to think about it. But the Beckett thing's been fun because I can go back and I remember a lot of what was going on at that time. So it's kind of cool to be like 1991. It feels like so long ago. But then you go to the readers, the letters from the readers, and they're talking about stuff that's very similar to what we're talking about today. 32 years later, it's like, actually, it's pretty close. It's talking about the same stuff. The box prices, they're too expensive. The grading's going to ruin the hobby. 1991. Well, there you go. Still ruining it as we speak. So anyway, all right, real quick, I'll read a couple more of these, and then I think we'll wind her down. Okay, so read that one. Maybe Eric could recap of the show with live stream in lieu of paying for the like button. He can do both. He can pay.
I don't think so.
Why do content creators feel the need to put out content regularly? Sponsors. If you got a sponsor paying for it every day, no, seriously, if you've got a sponsor paying for it every day, why not?
And ego.
Well, yeah, that too. But like, think about it though. If you've got a sponsor paying for it every day, yeah, you're going to come up with excuses to make a video.
Yeah.
You get paid for making the videos, or I tease endlessly. Ye floating head. He's not doing auction watch-alongs for fun.
No.
Like maybe like a first couple, but like at this point, literally they're paying him to do it.
Yeah, the first couple, he totally came up with the idea and asked his chat, do you want to do this? Did you find it entertaining? Would you want me to do another? And then it took off, and now he's doing like 10 a week and getting paid for it, which is, good for him. Someone's willing to give you money for something, go for it.
Yeah. So that's why I say, like, look, because Hockey argues point. Truthfully, if a bunch of sponsors came, hey, Carlos, we'd like you to do a show every day, I go, well, how much are you offering? Yeah, I was like, you pay enough for it? Sure, I guess. Sure. So but on my own, would I do that? No. But on my own, would I do that? No, I would not do it on my own. Like, but look, y'all want to pay for it? Have at it, man. Like, I will accommodate you. I'll be your Huckleberry. We'll make it happen. So Brendan here says, enjoyed the Packet Prophecy video ahead of its time. Yes. It's been fun. Like I said, it's a bit of an adventure to go back and see what they were talking about at the time. Some of it is very relevant. Some of it is completely of its time. It's fun to see the difference. And some of it works and some of it doesn't. Carlos, you can add "let's go" when you open the box. That is true. A few "let's goes" would go a long way. It's like, oh my God, Otis Nixon, let's go!
Oh my God,
former great Otis Nixon. Who?
Let me tell you. Hey, listen, all I got is Nixon bunts. He and the Carter catches.
Otis Nixon might be the ugliest player in baseball history.
You ever seen Don Massey?
I don't know who that is, but if he looks anything like Otis Nixon, God bless him.
All right, y'all. Here's a special treat to us to wind down on because we'll finish up on this. All right, let me grab a good old Don Massey here, and I'll show y'all. Don Massey's a special man. All right, so here we go. Don Massey. Here you go, Mr. Eric. Don Mossy.
That's some crazy
I'm gonna have
ears.
Look at the ears. Look at the eyes.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have nightmares.
Look at the position of the jaw. Like it's not even straight. Like it's not even aligned. It's
All I'm seeing is Mad Magazine.
well, this was a real person, but Eric. This is Don Mossy, the Don
No,
Mossy.
AKA Alfred E.
He's
Newman.
goofy looking.
That's it.
Otis Nixon is just ugly.
Eric, look at his eyes. His eyes aren't even aligned. Like they're
Yeah,
literally
no,
misaligned.
He's pretty goofy looking.
It's
There's a lot of
he's
issues
staring
here, man.
back at
No,
you.
he's got the double chin going in the photo, doesn't have his chin out. Yeah, he's a mess.
Plus the ears, plus
Yeah.
everything. And on top of it, his hat is misaligned.
It is.
It's all wrong. Like everything.
Yeah.
If you look
So I
at his
don't know.
eyes long enough, they move.
That's what I'm saying. It's deeply concerned.
They're,
It's deeply concerning.
they're following me.
It's
Yeah.
that yellow
Oh
background that
man,
screws
that's
you up.
creepy.
Just saying, man. I'm telling you. I'm warning you. You ever seen Olmedo Sainz? Fair enough. Dude looks like he's about to fly away. Facts. All right, name here. Can you review a copy of Beck and Hockey from early on in 3-4 season? Look, I told you, man, you got to go find that shit on your own. I will say, though, one of my goals at Expo, since apparently people have been enjoying it, I will try to see if I can find a dealer who will sell me a couple of Beckett magazines cheap. If I can get a couple inexpensively to fill in some of the gaps in some of those years, I'd be happy to keep the series going a little bit longer to grab some of that stuff. But I got to find them cheap. I happen to have some which made sense. It was easy for me to do since I had them within arm's reach. If I can find a few more, happy to do it. I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit myself. But it's also an easy video for me to make, to be honest. Like I set up the camera and I flipped the pages. It's not that hard.
We're going to get every single Beckett magazine for its entire run, except for the 2003-2004 season. We're not going to get any of those.
Yeah. So, all right, hold on here. Zach's got a specific Don Mossy. Oh, here we go. 66 tops. Hold on. I think I've got it here. I think this is almost as good. The one I just showed was 58. This one's this one I think probably ranks as well.
Did he get better looking?
No, God no.
Oh
It's not
no,
Mossy.
no. Now you can see that nose on top of it because he's got it. He got his
They
head
got
turned.
that serial killer on, you know.
Don Mossy is not an attractive man.
No.
Never was. Never
No.
was. There you go.
Sorry,
now y'all
Don.
know. Yep. What I understand is why are more people in the chat? That's really on them. Is it because you're based in Canada? I don't think that's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a matter of that. Seems watching never exceeds 60. It depends. So like, look, a serious thing. The only times it really exceeds 60 is when there's something crazy going on. I don't think that's what people don't get. The times where there's the most people in the chat and the most people watching live is okay. So number one, there was a playoff baseball game going on. Number two, there's the hockey on. Like there's a bunch of sports on the calendar. There's a lot of stuff going on. And number two, the hobby is not in a hot state. Again, I'll go back. Now, in fairness, here's the thing. Funny story that he mentions that. The reality is that there are more people watching on average now than during the boom period because it hadn't grown. It took time to organically grow. It's actually in a pretty good spot. I'm pretty happy with it, considering there's nothing to talk about. The fact that these episodes are still going in a solid line, there's nothing going on.
And I would still, I know I'm starting to sound a little corny and maybe a little too nice, but I'd rather have low numbers and an active chat of regulars who can have that camaraderie and, like I always say, be in on the jokes, be a part of the show, be active participants. You know, I'd rather have less people.
Quality over quantity, yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather have less people watching and have the chat that we have, the people that are coming here every week and participate in this show with us, than have 1,000 people watching and have a bunch of lame asses who aren't involved. So I'll take what we have. I'm very happy with what we have right now.
That's fair. I think what I'm going to say is this though. I've seen a lot of chats that have like a lot of people in the chat. Where one, a lot of people aren't participating. To Eric's point. But number two, some people are participating, but all they're doing is talking about what they want to talk about on their own. They're just off in their own world, or they've got their own agenda and they're just like screaming the same things over and over again. And I'm sitting there like, that's not an engagement. That's not a conversation. It's like, all right, y'all, you do your thing then that's fine. Okay. That doesn't do me any damn good. Yeah. What was that, Bobby?
Okay, Z.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, in that situation though, that's not engagement really. That doesn't contribute. It also doesn't make it very interesting for anybody else because it's like, well, then what do we talk about? At least when we're talking here and we're hanging out, yeah, there's not as many people, but I'd rather have a room of people, to Eric's point, that are actually engaged in what's going on.
Yeah.
Actually chatting with it a little bit. We're talking about stuff. But again, going back to what I said a few moments ago, probably the best single live stream, the biggest numbers ever, when Mike Baseball Collector came on after the Chasing Cardboard controversy and everything. It's not a coincidence. So right now, there's nothing like that going on. There's nothing. Look, if I got Justin Gamble out here right now, we'd probably get a big bump in numbers. We would.
That's it.
Yeah. Explain why your repacks are a scam, Justin.
Yes.
Gamble, if that's your real name. Gamble.
I'm going to change my name to Eric Wade.
That's right. But yeah, Eric has been so nice. He mysteriously left. Conspiracy. It's the pod people. All right, folks. We're going to finish before midnight tonight. So let's wind her down. Any last thoughts or comments? Throw them in the comment section. Feel free to throw them in. But the last points that we were making are valid. We do appreciate the chat because it makes it fun, makes it enjoyable. It gives us something to work with. And like I said, it's easier to bounce things off if we've got some kind of a sounding board. I appreciate the feedback on a lot of the stuff that I was asking. Like a bunch of you who are watching this are the people watching the videos. So that's why I'm asking you, what do you want to see? What order would you like to see it? So you let me know. I'm good with that. So we'll go chronological for now. I'll go with the issues I've got for now. We'll even include, like when we get to the hockey one, we'll even include that Expo program with an article from the Burrell. There's a little bonus in there. So we'll get to that when we get to that.
Articles in there?
I'll tell you. Hang on. Oh, by the way, you also got a PSA Platinum Promotions, Eric's favorite, when it was run by Len Potty.
Yes.
I have no comment.
Eric's favorite.
Len is a wonderful man.
Hey, listen, I learned with his son, Steve. Great conversation. Steve's great.
Len is a wonderful man who I don't know if he likes me all that much.
Yeah, listen, I already told Eric if he acted up too much, there's certain individuals that he would get to talk politics with that I think he would have a great time having a conversation with.
Yeah, just understand, I never spoke politics with anybody.
Oh, but you get a chance to. Don't worry.
I said hello, and then that was pretty much it.
That was your first mistake.
You had me at hello.
He
exactly.
Had me at hello, and I still want to point out that coward Tim put his tail between his legs and ran away.
Ooh, hold on. This is a good one. Oh, this will be a good one. We'll get to it. Save and score with Bobby R.
Save and score with Bobby R.
That's right. We got pictures and all kinds of fun stuff here, man. I don't know. All right. That is your article, yes, by Bobby Burrell. That's what it says there.
And that was the Lowney promotion, yeah.
And there's an SGC ad with a triple panel. I'll show it closer when I actually do it in the video. Like, don't want to ruin too much of the fun. That's why I said I'll throw this in as a bonus with the hockey episode, with the hockey Beckett, just to give you a little bonus. So there you go. You can look forward to that from the November 2019 show. So now 4 years coming up on this next show. So like I said, for me, those are fun videos to make because there's just going to be a chance. I'll just skim through. I'll talk through some of that stuff. And if people are enjoying it, I'll keep doing it as long as they're getting a kick out of it. And people seem to be enjoying it for what it is. At least it's something different.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. Thank you to Brad for popping in and hanging out for a little while. Thank you to the Burrell from the Garage of Knowledge.
Yes.
As always. Appreciate you.
Yes.
And Eric is Eric.
Yeah. Whatever.
Coming up on the channel, I'm going to find, I think I've got a video that I'm probably going to record. Oh, sorry. Well, one of the Beckett ones. So what I'll do is now that we've all agreed, I'll do chronological. I will record the 1992 one. I'll do that this weekend. And then hopefully my goal is to have it up by Sunday. If I succeed in that, then you'll get a chance to see it on the channel. Subscribe, like the video. Appreciate that. And then the other thing as well is that on Tuesday, we'll have the latest podcast episode. It won't be all hockeys. We will talk some hockey in there, but there'll be other things as well. We'll do a mix of that. Yeah, well, I'll let Eric explain the hockeys. Eric, so imagine that we're doing that podcast episode and you start explaining the hockeys. Do you want to tell us about the Bruins? I bet you do. What about Reggie Lemon? I bet you want to talk about Reggie Lemon, don't you? Oh, ew. So we'll sneak preview what's going to happen in the episode. All right, so that's it for us. It's your first mistake. Damn right. All right, folks, have yourself a good one. Those of you on the West Coast, you obviously got more time. Those of you on the East Coast, you got 3 minutes. Enjoy the rest of your Friday and then the rest of your weekend. Catch you in the next one. Also, hit the like button. I charge Eric. Do that. See you later.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.